1.
Are you ready?
Nerd Sauce Entertainment presents
The Nerd Pod.
Thanks for tuning into the Nerd Pod. We got something very, very special today, and we're taking this to the land of Westeros.
Political analyst Giovanni right here. So, when I first got into Game of Thrones, this would have been back in 2011. Haven't heard anything about it until then. This would have been season 3 at this point, season 2. When I first got into it, man, the dark fantasy of it, mixing the political intrigue, because I was coming from watching Rome, the series.
It's crazy when you see the politics in the show.
The same
so
team
good.
who made Game of Thrones made Rome. That was another. I love that show.
They made what?
Rome.
Rome.
It was
It was an HBO.
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
HBO show.
Okay.
Funny enough, it was canceled for Game of Thrones. It was getting too expensive at the time. It would have been mid 2000s, and each episode was costing maybe $2 or $3 million at that
That's
time.
crazy.
And Rome, I love the political intrigue of Rome. Barely any battle similar to Game of Thrones. And now, also coming from Lord of the Rings, right? So mixing these
Not a
two,
fan.
Yeah.
Rome, the politics of like the Republic,
Yeah.
and now the fantasy Lord of the Rings, and mixing these two together, it was a perfect mix for me. And I instantly fell in love with the first 2-3 episodes.
See, it was crazy. It took me pretty much until 2018 I started, and my coworkers were telling me about it, and I'm like, man, I can't get through the first episode because the first episode there's not much, there's a lot going on, but you don't understand. Yeah, you don't.
The guys died. The creepy little girl.
There's no detail on all that stuff,
Yeah.
and even with the symbols that are left behind, the spiral, that like they have yet to explain that.
We'll go into season later seasons.
You know,
I would
so-
have loved it first.
Bro, getting into the first, I gave it a chance one time. I'm like, I can't do it. Years later, 2018, I'm like, okay, let me just do it. Once you get past that first episode, that was it.
Yeah.
I was like addicted to it. I
Yeah.
binge watched.
It is, because I got into it last year.
I started
It
yesterday.
took me forever to start Game of Thrones. But it's just like Matt said, it's like you start it, and once you start, every episode, it's just crescendoing. The political intrigue is ridiculous. The constant
The dialogue.
plotting, the counter plotting, it's just so engaging.
Yeah,
It's so much.
Me falling in love with Littlefinger and Varys with their conversation in the throne room, and just like the back to back, like Varys, it's for the realm. What is the realm? Yeah, just like that.
Everything throughout the
famous
show,
chaos is a ladder.
that's
famous line.
him. Like he's serving the realm because he got his stuff cut off, so he had to join like a pact with.
He was a
eunuch.
eunuch
yeah.
from what's that city called? It's not Pentos, nor is it Bravos. It's like
No,
somewhere in
it's
the middle.
Valentis. Is it
No, it's not Volantis.
No?
either.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember Mir. No, not Mir either. But one of those SOs, big, free cities. He was like a spy master thief there.
Yeah.
And then he got the ear of the Mad King. He became a spy master, and he's just maneuvering.
It's crazy because everything he knows
little
everything
birds.
that's going on in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
within Westeros
Yeah.
and Bravos and all that.
I mean, he's the first one who knows about Daenerys. She's coming of age. He's the first one to know that.
And then he had the spy of Mormont, Jorah Mormont. But my thing is when getting into the series and so late, everybody already knows what's happened because I had enough content up until later on when the dragons die.
Yeah.
When the Night King. That's when I got up to that point. That's how much content I had.
Oh wow.
I got up to that, and that's when they were working on the next season.
Yeah. This
So
would
I
have been
had
2017?
probably because 2019 was the last.
Okay.
So I had from 2011 all the 20.
You're lucky.
I had years
Yeah,
of
yeah.
content.
I had to wait from
Of episodes.
three and onwards.
Oh wow, you were there.
I'm pretty sure it was like
So
three.
I was coming to work. It's like, bro, what's going on like this? And they're like, man, you don't know nothing. And then we got up, and then I came to work the next day after watching the episode of the Red Wedding, and they were like,
oh my god, that's another Dad.
This is
I didn't think they were gonna kill
crazy.
Dad, and then man,
so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you think all these people are gonna
No
when
one's safe. No one's safe.
Yeah, when Ned
No
died,
problem.
right? I thought he was the main character. Okay, his son becomes the king of the North. Next
Gets taken out.
Gets taken out. I'm like, dude, I never would have guessed Jon Snow was gonna be the ice to the fire for
At the
the
time,
storyline. Song of Ice and Fire.
I
That
didn't
makes
think
sense.
They were gonna kill off John's older brother. Oh my god, the Red Wolf, the young wolf.
Oh my
Robert.
gosh.
Robert.
Yeah, or Rob.
Yeah, Rob. And the way he died. Oh my god, that was
Terrible.
like horrible.
I,
That was a bad scene. Like
I have few.
you have to hate
That
the
was
phrase.
probably one of the best, but terrible episodes when
Yeah.
it comes down
Yeah.
to like the emotion, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the mom and like
yeah, Cap. Yeah.
just let him go, walk out, and he's like, why would I let him do that? Oh, I can't stand that bastard.
phrase.
The freaking phrase.
The Red Wedding episode. There's very few moments that I've experienced cinematically that
That touched
that
so
that,
many.
that, that
that's-
affect me emotionally. And I remember at the end of the Red Wedding episode, man, my eyes were watering. I was
Yeah.
like,
Bro, I didn't know what to do with
"What the
myself.
hell?" Yeah. There was like a moment of you're just kind of like,
The wife got stabbed
I'm
in the
so glad-
belly.
I'm so
like,
glad.
Oh my
I'm so glad you
God.
weren't spoiled on that because Game of and you
No, I
watched it
didn't-
last year. So that's good.
I didn't absorb anything of Game of Thrones.
imagine we when we post this, somebody spoiler alert, dude, you had like
There's
20 years to watch this.
There is no. We can't. Come on. At this point,
But,
I
um,
wouldn't even have gotten mad if I got spoiled or something. There's no.
But we
way.
talked about some stuff that you didn't watch
But the
yet.
thing is-
when we did the House of Dragon season
yeah,
one.
yeah, I tried to, but like I
Oh, so that's the funny thing, right? How I like got into this world. I watched House of Dragons
That was
first,
it.
Oh yeah, you did.
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I watched Game of Thrones.
Popped his cherry right
Yeah.
there.
Season 1 of House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
I watched.
Stay
first.
tuned for season 2.
But then watching Game of Thrones was it was life changing, good and bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
well.
crazy, right? So
But I
like
still love it.
we watched it so far back where like I didn't know a lot of the lore. I wasn't really big into lore until I started watching Game of Thrones and watched.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, you hear about the Targaryens, you hear about Dragonstone, you hear
All the
about
the noble families.
Harrenhal, and
Harrenhal.
and they made it seem like these places are normal, right? But then when you watch and you learn the lore and you watch House of the Dragon, like how like a popular Harrenhal is,
Yeah, yeah.
how
Yeah.
popular in Dragonstone and all the caves.
the scale of Harrenhal.
I think that's
is
the
Yeah,
word.
they
It's
made
amazing,
it like when you watch Game of Thrones, it's like, yeah, we're in Harrenhal. You know, that's one of we're holding that base,
Yeah.
and the Lannisters, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're at the what is it? Storm's End.
Storm's End.
Like you see a lot
there's lore, too.
of that like visual aspect in House of the Dragon, but in Game of Thrones they don't make it big. But when
Yeah.
you start seeing the
It's like compare
the
the,
prequel story
Remember
to
the
that.
Hunt?
Yes.
Someone made this comparison when the first season of House of Dragon. Read it somewhere. The first season of House of Dragon dropped.
Yeah.
Remember, look at the Hunt done in season 1 of House of Dragon compared to the Hunt that ended up killing Robert.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah.
screen, like
Oh.
three guys, like the king of the 7 kingdoms.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
walking with like his friends in the middle of the woods, in the king's woods. And I think they show him maybe like with one guard.
Yeah.
And then you see,
Well,
you see
I
the
think,
Hunt over here. It's a whole actual spectacular,
it's a-
which was like a spectacular event in
Yeah.
medieval times.
Yeah.
The king would never be without guards.
Yeah.
These
Anywhere,
boars weren't
anywhere.
no joke, man.
Yeah.
All the families would be there.
But Cersei obviously set him up because
Yeah.
she says it many times in
He
the
got
story.
drunk. He got hit. What was
Yeah.
it?
We
We got him drunk on purpose, and he got skewed.
Because he gets, when he's drunk, he's reckless. But when you get into like the first season, let alone the first few episodes, and you start seeing like the character Ned is this whole, like justice type,
Under the code.
honor the code.
gods.
I'm a one woman man. I respect my family. And then you start seeing the other characters, right? So you see Tyrion be introduced, and at first you see this guy as like this drunken brothel loving
Tyrion
man.
instantly.
But then as you get into the story,
Yeah.
he starts becoming more like after his
starts
girlfriend.
playing the game, like he
when
says.
his- after the girl died and he killed her and
Yeah.
killed his dad, he changed a lot after that. But like when you see the development of the characters, I would have thought Jon Snow was going to be the main character.
Yeah. Funny enough, I do like thinking back when I first watched the first episode. When they first introduced Bran, funny like didn't know any lore,
Yeah.
didn't know anything like how
Yeah.
it ended, 3-eyed crow or 3-eyed raven, and in my head as soon as I saw Bran, I was like, oh, he's probably gonna end up winning the game. I remember having, but I said it like then later the show kept going on. I was like, oh, it's obviously
Yeah.
by the end of the first season, I'm like, oh, it's not Bran, it's
Yeah.
gonna be Jon Snow. But
At the end of the first season,
Yeah.
at the end of the first episode, I was like, "Oh, this guy's irrelevant. He got
Yeah.
pushed out a window."
Yeah.
Him, let alone
I instantly
Rickon.
switched up there.
Rickon is like
I was like, oh,
2-minute screen time of the whole
Oh my God.
Game of Thrones
Rickon
story.
comes out,
for Rickon.
appears again, he gets shot.
Bro,
It's funny because
arrow
in-
to the chest.
I know.
Rickon apparently in the books he he's a way stronger green seer and warg than all the other
Well,
Stark children.
in the book, I think they're all technically
they're
wargs.
all wargs, but not all of them are green seers. The only
Oh, yeah.
green seer, actually no, I was wrong. Actually no, Rickon might be a green seer later on because he's like in the books he's like 3.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah,
Bran is
they're
like what,
all like
5 or
Jon
6?
Snow's like 15, and he's
a
already
grown ass man.
Lord-
And Ned is supposed to be
it's
young
classic.
too.
It's
Ned is
just
supposed.
classic medieval stuff.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what,
What
I
was
mean?
that, like 30 something maybe?
Probably. Like
Ned's
us.
young. Ned's like around our age. Would be around
And then
like,
homies like
Weathered,
Yeah.
war
weathered
veteran.
Sean Bede.
his younger days was during Lord of the Rings. man.
the youngest shot. Even then, he still looked like a 40-year-old. And that's just his vibe, bro.
Yeah.
But that I remember, only Bran is the warg and green seer.
Yes.
He's the one who has the green dreams, the prophetic dreams, and then he can warg into all sorts of animals. And then,
Which in the show,
Yeah, he works with
just
humans. Yeah,
it's
obviously
just
with-
Hodor and Summer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much who he works in the story in the show. So who knows? Like the capability of those having those that
the actual powers.
Yeah, the powers.
That's why I'm looking. I was so excited with House of the Dragon with Blood Raven. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for what is it called? The Hedge Knight in the Seven
Yeah, Hedge
Kingdoms
Knight
or
with
something
Blood
like.
Raven.
I forgot
yeah,
the name, the title.
Duncan the Tall and
No, that's Sir Duncan the Tall is but it's supposed to be like the
Hedge and Egg.
the Hedge Knight and I don't.
Duncan.
And I hate how it sounds almost like a random Disney
You know what's
Plus
crazy?
kid show.
I wrote this in our chat.
With the egg.
As we get more into the story, the characters, obviously Meister Aemon, and on his deathbed, I said this in the chat, which he says his brother's name,
Yeah.
before he dies.
Yeah.
Egg. And I don't think anybody ever caught that.
No.
And it's considered an Easter egg, right?
Yeah.
Like a yes.
Yeah.
And then
No, you know
nobody
what's-
ever really caught that.
You know what's funny? I probably for sure wouldn't have caught that if it wasn't for the fact that we consistently talk about this lore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's deep and like
it's very deep.
Like you go
it's
through like
like
the book you have the history of the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
That book-
that's the whole
When it's based
everything.
yeah,
That's what Game of Thrones.
It goes all the way back to like the
um,
Long Nights. Yeah, it's a really good book.
They're broken down. So Game of Thrones is the first part of Game of Thrones in the show.
Yeah.
But as 2 other books go on, it takes over after Game of Thrones. So it's like when the Battle of the Kings was the 5 Kings, and then
War of the Five Kings. Yeah.
so the other books take into that, and then the one book it's is for the House of the Dragon lore. So it's good, man. And then with the characters, obviously we talked about the age, but
Yeah.
the features, right? So Tyrion in the books got no nose.
No, Tyrion.
Yeah, he's
he looked
supposed to
jacked
be-
up.
Wait, even Arya is supposed to be really
wolf
ugly.
like ugly little tomboy
Yeah.
girl. Apparently.
And she was supposed to, I think,
Horse
yeah, horse face.
marry or get wed to Jon Snow in the books, if I'm not mistaken. Arya.
Oh yeah, there is something apparently. That's medieval. Yeah, there was something apparently like
That
with Arya.
incest.
Yeah. Like, oh, we're only half brother, half sister.
Like, come on, man. Like,
the old gods allow it. I don't know. I'm doing like the cross. Like I don't know what they.
well, that's what Cersei ran with in the show, in the story. Is that, hey, why can't the Targaryen? Why can't I do it? The Targaryens did it, right?
I mean, it's true, right? Where like every house for sure had its level of
Inside, yeah.
weird relationships. But the Targaryens did it
No, they're the worst.
unshamefully.
But the Targaryens have the excuse because I don't know the only other magical bloodline I would know would be like the Starks because like a lot of Starks are wargs.
yes,
So,
yes.
So
Yeah.
the argument for incest in the Westeros world would be like we have to retain this bloodline.
Kinda want this power.
Targaryens do that obviously because they want to keep the dragon, the
blood
them
of the
allowed
dragon.
to bond with dragons.
Yeah.
With so it makes sense. But like if like the Tullys do it, you're just being weird. Actually,
Well,
like,
who was
what
and we'll go into that when we do
Tullys warg into like fish.
when we do House of the Dragon season 2. That's a lot of that took place with the bonding,
Yeah.
the blood, right? And they were looking into that. So we'll go into that when we do the next episode on House of the Dragon season 2. But in Game of Thrones, I felt that the Targaryens were so underrated. Just like where they came from, right?
Yeah,
They,
for sure.
Viserys and Daenerys are like hiding in what was of Pentos.
I think it was Pentos the big. They were like traveling from like
yeah,
free
and
city
they don't
to
even
free city.
own all this stuff. They have the like Viserys' sword is like
They've
pretty
lost
much
everything.
rented
Yeah,
and borrowed
Yeah,
by
they've lost
the
everything.
the spice merchant guy.
Yeah.
But what I did like is like them showing the development on like the Dothraki and like
Yeah, Dothraki.
they took a different path, right, than just getting Daenerys on the Iron Throne, right? She built this whole bond with Dothraki, then the Unsullied.
Yeah, then
and-
Panto. Oh no, Amir. The
yeah,
pyramid.
instead of just going from one, okay,
Yeah.
go to Westeros,
Yeah.
she conquered all these different.
we're still wait. She's still somewhere in Essos in the
Essos.
books.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Jon Snow, you know, in the books, my poor boy Jon Snow has been dead for 15 years. He's just there lying in the snow, like he was stabbed. Obviously, in the show, we saw him like resurrect. He probably will resurrect, but like unless George R. R. Martin was like, you know what, he dies.
Yeah.
but
He did.
Jon Snow, I think, has been dead.
That's
for
the
about
crazy
15 years,
thing
right?
because like where the story is at in the books because we don't have the ending. So, we've
have
been
an
waiting
ending on Kaid.
all these years, and Jon Snow is waiting to like come back to life because, what was the next day or that night in the show?
In the show,
Sir,
yeah, it
few
seems like
hours.
Bravo's.
Oh, it's like a little.
what's his
like
name?
Overnight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
seems to be, like, overnight.
What's his name?
Sir Davos.
Sir Davos finds him out. So like, it was just crazy. Like, and that was another like that was a wedding moment
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, that was.
that was what 2 years of wait, a year and a half or so.
Yeah,
between those
that's why I was
seasons?
like, dang,
Uh,
Ned,
I
Rob.
I remember being really
then
bothered
John.
with that. I was actually angry. I remember, cause,
Yeah.
No, I remember watching
Yeah,
it
'cause it
live.
ended abruptly
and
like
I was
that
like,
too.
I'm like, okay, I'm all for
Wasn't
like,
that
no
the
care.
ending of the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
The last episode was literally John getting just stabbed by
And
everyone.
left out there.
And he like was like, and like
Yeah.
cut to black. And,
then
I was
people-
like, no
and
way.
Through the years,
Ollie.
people were like, oh, if you see the blood, it gets into the shape of a wolf. That means he worked into go. People are going crazy.
Oh, that's-
like,
that's on
trying to
the-
theor-
on
He's
YouTube,
dead,
yeah.
but not dead. And I remember watching it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
nah,
I was
he-
actually angry.
Yeah, they
because,
said he went into Ghost. He worked into Ghost.
I was actually
when he
yeah,
died.
because you see Ghost react in
Yeah.
a way too. And I was actually angry because, I'm all for characters not having plot armor.
Yeah,
it's,
for sure.
It's fine.
No, for sure.
But there's a limit.
Yeah.
when they
We definitely see that limit. In
But
the
it was- with Jon Snow, I was like, oh man, he was my favorite character. Oh man, like just like
This how
bastard
they
coming
did
from
him,
nothing.
man. It was so bad. Like for the watch.
Yeah.
yeah.
Shank.
What's
What was it, like 5 of them, 4 of them?
Yeah, it was a good. It was
the
a good
main,
number of them. Honestly, the
what's
one
his
that
name?
hurt. The one that hurt the most.
Alistair Thorne.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy pissed me off
yeah.
in the show.
He was
man.
just a salty guy.
And the boy.
salty.
Salt, bro.
What's the little boy's name?
It hurt so much to see the little boy
Oh, Ollie.
stab
Yo,
John.
but how his parents got murdered,
But
bro.
it is extremely
Jesus.
traumatizing how his parents died.
I'm like,
I mean, it makes. I mean,
So
that's why he
it's-
hates wildlings. Yeah.
it pissed me off. But
dude,
then it's also
imagine that. You're just there with your parents and you're just laughing and all that. And next thing you know is, what was it, an axe that hit him? Or,
Can't remember.
Or
I
an
can't remember.
arrow?
They got taken out. I think it was arrows.
and then the mom's like, run. And then while
What-
she's
you-
running,
you-
she gets
You guys
hit.
remember what season they showed that backstory? Like that.
No,
I don't even remember.
No, I don't remember. It's still within the good seasons.
Yeah. Which?
So crazy,
What do you
man.
guys think are the good seasons? Like for me, season
One-
obviously 1 through like
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
6, I think
Yeah.
you started seeing like the issues. Let me see. Let me pull up
6,
the
I will
season.
definitely give it like a 6 out of 10, and then 7 and 8. It was just
Yeah, it was
they were
bad.
just like fuck it,
Well,
like
Yeah.
literally like and it's the writers because you can tell from all the actors. They all got trauma from those last
they
2
read them
seasons.
scripts. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah,
happening?
you
to
saw
my
those
characters?
videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Kit Harington first read the script, and he looks to Emilia Clarke, and he's like, "Is this happening? This is happening." I'm actually
Or like when they read Carpet Ask like Peter Dinklage and Amelia Clark, like they're like this, they're like, that's great.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So that means
Like
yeah.
she was from like the clips I saw with Emilia Clarke, she was the one that could not hide it.
Oh, yeah,
When they would ask her, "Oh, how's season 8?" It's great.
Yeah.
she could not hide it.
I hope she
Yeah.
reacted
Because
that
other-
when they ask her about Secret Wars.
I know. Oh my god.
I never watched Secret Wars, but yeah, I saw the clips. I saw the clips of the really.
You
bad
never
TV.
watched it?
Never watched
oh
it.
my. The no, it was Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Secret
sorry,
Invasion.
sorry,
Secret
sorry.
Wars is
I
the
always
next
confuse-
Avengers,
I always
one of the
confuse
next Avengers movies.
like basically
after
like
the Dooms one.
another major arc. At that
But yeah, so like it's just sad because of what could have happened post, you know, like just the whole thing was to get onto the Iron Throne, right? That's and
Who were you rooting for mainly? Like,
John, of
John,
course,
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's a debate. Like
I was-
the
He did
good,
not
normal,
want- but-
noble, like obvious pick.
but everything
then-
he did right in the show, it wasn't for a gain in a sense. Like
Yeah.
I want to be king. Everybody voted him in that.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah, he
so
earned
he
it.
did not want to disappoint anybody. Like he didn't want to conquer. He didn't want to do anything. But people wanted him to show up and represent them. So in the end, I'm like, man, this guy is going to be the one that he's fit for the throne because he's not fighting for the throne. He's fighting for people.
It's funny. 'Cause
Humanity.
That's one thing with Jon Snow that really differs from the books. Because in the books, you know the famous saying like, "I don't want it. I never wanted it." You
Yeah.
know, like the whole Jon Snow, especially the three lines he says. My queen, like the three
my
lines he said.
queen.
The three lines he said in the last season. In the books though, there's funny. It's like an actual literal opposite line of like, I always wanted it. Jon Snow thinking to himself about
Oh,
becoming
yeah.
Lord of Winterfell.
Well, because he
always
wanted to feel important because
Yeah.
everybody outcasted
He's a lot
him
more
because he's a
intelligent in the
snow.
books.
Yeah,
A
he
lot
always
more-
had
He's
to,
cunning. He's cunning in the books.
He always had to kind of prove himself because he's a bastard, right?
Yep.
Like he has to put in, I would say, double the work.
But that gave me chills when the flashback. When the flashback when Bran goes in and starts looking at the past, right? And he sees
the transition of the baby John.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
And you
that
see
one.
you see the scar. He's just like that.
You know, I
just
make fun of. We've always
hair
made fun
slicked
of Matt.
back. You know.
We've always made fun of Matt, my brother and I, because he rewatches movies in an insane amount. I don't rewatch movies or shows, but I rewatch scenes. Right?
I
On YouTube
rewatched.
every
I
once in a while.
rewatched Game of Thrones like probably like 10 times.
Yeah, that's,
now.
I think that's the
That's
thing you probably
wild.
rewatch
yeah.
the most.
I'm rewatching it right now.
But for me, I rewatch scenes of movies, shows, and I can't tell you how many times I rewatched that scene.
I think
the transition.
Giovanni's like that's me right there.
The last. If I were to be
Dude, but
king,
it's a really good, and it's not even a big
Yeah.
scene. It's just like it
It was a
worked.
powerful scene.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
So
Such
I
a good
remember
scene.
when it happened, I was like, "No, John."
No, and then
He just stared like
John Targaryen.
and the chant later, like the King of the North, when they start chanting King of the North, when they start chanting King of the North,
Yeah.
and the
Oh, that gave me goosebumps.
the soundtrack they use, I know it's like the Game of Thrones like soundtrack, but it's mixed with like I think John's theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my, that for me, I was like, all right, that was like, even though that season had problems, because right after you get Cersei becoming queen,
Yeah.
you got her blowing up the sept.
That was a terrible scene. Like
her,
good, it's a good scene, but it's terrible what happens.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like,
her drinking
one-
wine the
one
whole,
of,
in the
uh,
balcony.
it
the whole
felt good.
season.
Yeah, she's just like
one of my favorite scenes from the weaker side of Game of Thrones is post the explosion of the Sept.
okay.
When it's there's no audio. Someone walks in, whispers to oh my god, I forget his name, but Joffrey's brother. He's the acting king.
Oh,
His younger
Tom.
brother,
Tommen. So there's no audio.
he ain't Baratheon, bro. He's a Lannister.
They
Don't-
walk up,
Pure Lannister.
whisper in his ear. They walk out, and you see him just kind of look straight,
Oh,
take
yeah.
the crown off, put it on the table, and just like thoughtlessly,
Yeah.
like perfect. Like he was like, the minute he told him, he was like, "Yep, okay," and just
And just
throws
convince
himself.
himself.
Yeah.
Dude, I that scene was so powerful to me too, where I was just like, "Whoa!"
Every Game of Thrones fan knows it's like
Holy
the
crap.
irony of like obviously King's Landing. Like
Yeah,
everyone knows.
But
like,
it just
it's
shows
like
you
such
like
a
the
good,
pure, like he was the good one. The pure love he fell
he was
for
actually
Queen Marjorie.
Yeah.
He was naive, but he could have grown into a good king.
Oh,
Like, with
yeah.
education, with
Yeah.
not Cersei
Yeah.
as his advisor, not a
Honest-
good hand of the king. Which
Good
shouldn't be
hand,
any
a
of
good queen.
hit Tommen.
Yeah.
with the hand of the Marjorie would have been a good queen. I think.
I think Marjorie would have been
Him
a good
and
queen. She was just
Marjorie-
as cunning,
Yeah.
but not as
not like Cersei.
But what
like,
having Olenna
she had-
by her
Oh, I
side
love
was so
Olenna.
good. Olenna was like legit though. Like she was like she wasn't someone that like was like evil.
Yeah, no.
She
no,
just
no,
she
no.
wanted
Old school
to,
she
medieval
wanted the
cunning.
best
For her-
for her family,
for her family.
Yeah, for the family.
but not to like
And with Tyrion as hand of the king to
Yeah.
Tommen. that. I mean, that would have been.
Man, it was funny
Would've been
because near the end,
Yo,
not
Tywin
even
pissed
near
me
the
off,
end,
man.
not even near the end, but I was rooting for obviously Jon. I think everyone kind of roots for Jon to be king, but I kind of wanted Tyrion to be king. I became. I'll say this right off the bat: Tyrion is my favorite character.
But remember, it's all about stories, and who has the best story? But
Bran
the
the
Broken.
With Tyrion's speech at the end.
What are you doing, Tyrion?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Stories
Bran
is
the
he's gonna. What is he gonna? I don't wanna
My
talk
thing,
about
Let's love Game of Thrones before we start hating on
Yeah.
it.
Bran would have done great, and I think we'd have been talking good about him if they didn't change the way he acted when after he got he became the Three-Eyed Raven, right? He started like, I'm
He's
not
Dr.
him no more.
Manhattan. Yeah.
I'm not him no more.
I mean,
I'm not like, dude. But
I mean,
I don't
the
know
way
if
but
it
he was having visions though.
the way he described it makes sense. It's like kind of like Jessica when she takes like a Benny Gesserit when
Yeah.
they take, or Paul, they take and they have so many memories. In this
Yeah.
case, not memories of your ancestors, memories of past three-eyed ravens or three-eyed crows and other green seers. He has memory of like the Weirwood network. Maybe that involves like.
But he
green
started
seers.
acting that after
Like his
seeing
connect-
Benjen.
yeah.
He connected and to the trees with the three-eyed crow. That's when he learned how to fly. And he
Yeah.
took.
Was that after Benjen?
After he left that little cave
and,
thing.
and the books they go into
Yeah.
it a bit more to activate his green seer powers. Jojen dies. The way he
Yeah.
dies in the show is not how he dies in
Yeah.
the
I-
books. In
I
the
would-
books,
What did he have again? I forgot.
Jojen?
Yeah, what disease did he because he was dying?
Jojen knew he was going to die the way he was going to
But
die.
like, what was killing him?
No, it was his fate to. In the books, it's implied that the paste that Bran takes to open his green seer powers
Yeah.
and learn how to fly is actually Jojen paste. It's made for the remain. Remember, old gods is all about sacrifice for power.
Yeah.
Even, most of magic in Game of Thrones world works
Yeah.
with sacrifices, even like blood magic from the Targaryens. So in this case, to activate your green seer powers, you need to consume another green seer as a sacrificial piece. And Jojen was that sacrificial piece. That's why he
Gotcha.
knew in the books. I'm trying to remember how. Do you remember how he exactly died in the show? Actually,
Yeah,
I can't
he got stabbed by the undead.
Okay,
he
so in the
stabs
books,
them, and then
okay. In the books, it's nothing like that.
The house of the children of the forest tell him, oh, he's lost.
Yeah.
Come with us, or you will die too, or whatnot. Or
But
you
I
share the
think in
same.
the books-
Then they blow him up with the little
I'm
magic
sorry,
bomb.
I think in the show he also refers to like he knew in the show he knew he was going to die like that. He was going to
Yeah.
get stabbed. And in
But
the
he
books,
kept coughing up and
Did
I
he-
think like blood and he was just dying.
Yeah.
He just kept getting sick and sick as they got.
Yeah.
And that's why he was weak and didn't.
I don't know if
His
it
sister was
was
carrying him. all-
yeah, I remember that.
I don't know if it was bad writing or bad acting when it comes to Bran after that, because I don't see anything wrong with like, because I could understand, you start seeing a lot of past lives, past memories. I get it. You're not gonna be a regular human having
the
regular
writing was-
conversations.
I'm not just Bran at this
Yeah.
point.
It
no.
was a creep when he starts talking to Sansa about the wedding.
You looked beautiful that
You looked
night.
beautiful, yeah.
Do you, Brad, do you know what happened that
Bro.
night?
Of course he knows what happened that night.
But
Like that's the
but
crazy
I think
part.
that's why they say because he's so detached from like human emotions.
Yeah.
That he can't even at that point. I don't know if he's like
I'm like,
recovering.
dude, like,
It's just AI.
you look beautiful that night wearing that white dress.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, so you saw me get raped.
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I don't know if I don't even know how the show ends with Bran being like the green. Like, do you see that as a good ending in the sense of like the good people won?
You know, I don't even know, because then at the last episode, because they're not. I mean, it was already not that great of a season.
Yeah.
But then the way it ended too, like Bran almost, it got weird. Where then, like, Tyrion was like, "Oh, the stories of Bran the Broken, blah blah blah."
And he didn't want to
then-
be hand.
And then he was like,
I don't want to.
Oh, why do you think I came all this
Yeah,
way?
yeah.
And then there's this weird kind of like, this was all part of my plan type of reaction from Bran that I was like, did the good guys win?
Yeah.
Who won here?
There's a pretty good video on YouTube that
Sends John, which is kind of the heir to the throne, away. Kind of like disperses all his like literal enemies. Daenerys is dead. The dragon's gone, and it seems kind of like
who's the lead?
damn, this guy kind of.
The leader of the.
It just defeated the whole purpose of the whole story at the end.
Yeah.
Like the whole story of Song of Ice and Fire, right, is because to defeat the Night King, bring in Daenerys and Daenerys and Jon, pretty much he was the Princess Promise, all that stuff. And it's like that last episode, I'm like, everything went out the door.
Yeah.
Because
The free folk one.
well,
Old
there's always a
magic one.
twist, right? But the twist, like, I wasn't expecting, like, the death of Daenerys and then Drogon burning down the chair.
I don't.
I didn't see like the previous season. I didn't see that coming, but by like how many episodes does that season have? Like 8.
Yeah.
And by like episode 7, I was like, I know where this, or maybe 7 before that 6, 5. I was like, I know where this is going because I saw Daenerys already like the Mad King.
Yeah, she was getting.
Like,
You saw the makeup they did for her because
like,
she looked crazy.
It might be good. Like that could be a good end point. That could actually be what George R. R. Martin planned, but how you got there, like he might have had like planned in his head, maybe like between the end of the previous season and the last season, like 4 seasons, to get there for Daenerys to get there, rather than like 2 episodes. Like they kill Miss Missandei. She hears the bells because those were the bells that she heard when she was escaping King's Landing with her brother when the Mountain was murdering her her mother, and then she's like, oh, that now I'm gonna kill all peasants. I understand, but
After
you understand
becoming the breaker of chains.
but you understand the triggers, like the building blocks are there, but like,
She
just
ended
like
up
how you got
being
there.
the Queen of Ashes for a little while before she died.
She really did. And for me, it was, I didn't mind Daenerys dying because I eventually kind of like, I was like, you know what? I think she's going to die. For me, it was like this weird thing with the dragon burning down the throne.
That was
Which was, I'm like, I mean, the whole concept of
Iron Throne.
of this show is this Iron Throne, right? Like metaphorically, like literally, it all revolves
The
around
whole,
this
like,
throne,
all the way back to Aegon.
And I think it's weird where, like, I understand that Jon killed Daenerys, but Jon is Targaryen. Why did the dragon react? I mean, I could understand the dragon kind of looked at Jon and was like, well, I'm not going to kill you. But I understand what's going on here in this human world, so I'm going to burn this iconic sign in your realm, which is this Iron Throne.
Yep.
But I can't see the Iron Fleet mere 200 feet away from me kill my brother. That's the part that for me, like, it was crazy. Like, that for me, that's why that ending is weird. Because, you have that scene, that's my biggest turnoff in Game of Thrones. Daenerys is flying back, her next to the other dragon gets killed, and they're like, what, we're up so high. We didn't see the Iron Fleet, the biggest
how
fleet.
you not see that?
The biggest fleet in all of Westeros. I didn't see them. And it kills the dragon. Yet the dragon over here has the idea of,
and they got him good right in the neck.
Human political game, and I was like, I'm gonna burn your throne because you killed the queen. It was weird.
The worst adapted character was what's this guy's name?
I love him.
He's
such a wild card.
No, but his character in the books is amazing. In the show, he's weird.
I still love him.
He's weirdly playing. He's like a rock star wearing like eyeliner.
He's
who's that?
What's this guy's name?
The guy from
the leader of the Iron Fleet.
I always forget his name. Their uncle.
Euron?
Yeah, Euron. Euron's amazing. Euron's an amazing
uncle.
character in the book.
He pissed me off in the show,
He's way
though,
weirder in the books. He has,
I
like,
loved
blue
his
lips.
like
In
glam,
the
rock and roll.
storyline, in the books and then just the history, he ended up shipping out to Valyria. And he ended up finding the horn that bends dragons to the to his
and apparently
to the world.
a full Valyrian armor.
Yes, a full Valyrian
they
suit.
changed that with House of Dragon because in the books there was no kingdom ever knew of Valyria. The Targaryens never had Valyrian armor.
Yeah.
Maybe at its heyday Valyria had it, but remember Targaryens were like a weaker house within the like they were like a weaker house that just happened to survive Dragon Lords. In the books there was no armor. There's rumored to be armor, but it would cost a kingdom the way they say it.
Yeah.
Because even sword
Mithril.
like the only person that was able to purchase that we were talking Tywin always wanted to before he got ice and smelted it down to make 2
Oh, that
dinosaur
pissed
swords.
me off.
Yeah, that's
man.
another thing.
That's another
after
that
they
pissed
killed
me
Ned,
off.
another like insult to the injury. Tywin had always wanted a Valyrian sword, so he even tried to like pay off other families that had it.
Yeah.
And they would say no, and Tywin was the richest.
Because a lot of these swords have been in
it's a symbol
in
to
family
like
history.
prestige.
Like,
Like, it's worth more than
generations.
money. Yeah.
They're like just passed down generation.
But Euron is a lot more like deadlier and eviler in the
More
story.
cunning and everything. Yeah.
But the fact that he found that horn and he found that Valyria armor, because a lot of people don't come back when they go to Valyria because of the Mountain Man.
Yeah.
He was
The Stone Man.
he was still one of my favorite comedic reliefs from like the later shitty seasons because he was just funny.
What is it? Does she like it in the bum?
Yeah, a finger in the bum.
Finger in the bum.
Finger in the bum.
Yeah, too. And then Jamie was like, even Jamie was flustered. Like, Mr. Cool
He's ready to
Jamie
fight
was never-
somebody, man.
Yeah. Oh my
Cool,
god.
suave Jamie Lannister, man. Jamie Lannister. I had
The
a
worst
roller
character
coaster.
arc. The worst character arc.
Yeah. But I had a roller coaster ride with his character. I hated
Man,
him. I liked him. I hated
that's
him.
what
I
I'm
felt
saying.
sorry. I think he deserved it. I hated him. Like it was
Every
so
time
much with
he
him.
thought about Cersei, he did stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Cersei. I hate Cersei, but that means that she was a good character, and I mean that in a way where like her actions,
pissed me off.
her plans, her cunning. She was so well written and so well acted. I loved Cersei, man. Loved Cersei. Yeah.
Hey, Joffrey, like similar
Joffrey too,
similar to
man.
Ramsay, like Ramsay. Oh, my god, well Ramsay did to
Ramsay
to
Theon.
Theon.
As much as I
Bro.
hate, like you hated, obviously most people hated Theon.
Cut his pee off and send it to his dad.
I don't think anyone was going for Theon. They're like, yes, go betray those Starks. Maybe like one person out there was like,
Theon pissed me off, and then Ramsay,
but he didn't deserve that.
Got him, and when it
that's the thing.
started,
That's the thing.
when it kept going and going
like that.
and going, and I was like, "Damn, bro, he didn't deserve that."
Yeah, just
like,
do the Stark way. Like,
I wanted him to get it.
Just behead him.
I wanted him
not
to
do
get an
that.
L. I wanted him to get an L.
But not that
Because
I thought he was he was
Jesus.
gonna get flayed completely, but no, he just flayed his penis.
No, bro. Like I
Yeah.
think getting
I'm like,
flayed would have been
dang.
easy to. Bro, this guy got
Yeah,
psychologically
the
broken.
psychological part of it
The
too.
dude is
He's
the
not the first
prince.
Reek too.
Huh?
He's the second Reek. That how much of a psychopath Ramsay is. He's the
Yeah.
second Reek, and the previous Reek already died, and now he's just learning to basically create. Yeah, pure psychopath, like a weird,
prince.
hollow, like tortured person that he uses as a pet.
And then when Yara tried to go save him and he didn't want to leave.
Oh my god, that was a crazy scene too. They lost a
or
fuck
when
ton
he
of men.
when he made him watch Sansa get raped. He's like, no, you're gonna watch this.
God, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, bro, there were some. Yeah, Ramsay, for me, I would say I put him above Joffrey.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cersei was just like a maniac.
Like
the whole,
Joffrey's
the
more
whole-
of like a Nero like
he was just
psychopath.
narcissistic.
Yeah, just like I want to
Yeah.
be loved. I want to be a king.
But he
Like,
didn't. He
Ramsay
didn't want
is
to have. He didn't want to have sex with anybody. He just wants them to Joffrey. He wanted people to beat themselves
the
up.
first girl that he did that with the little fingers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, with the
I have a,
arrows.
when he, I think. Oh, it's actually funny enough. It's the same scene where I talked about earlier. The chaos is a ladder.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
he was like, "Oh, how did you find out it was me? Oh, I have a friend." And I think the prostitute was working for
Littlefinger.
Littlefinger.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Varys. Varys was using her for information.
Yes.
And then Littlefinger found out, and then he was like, "Oh, she was a bad investment." So I, rather than like lose my investment, I gave it to a new client that wants to experiment something new. And then
He was just,
the next scene
Littlefinger was
what
weird too because
what Joffrey did.
he owned his brothel, right? But they didn't sleep around. He was saving himself for Cat.
Yeah.
So and obviously he slept with Liza, right?
Yeah,
So-
Liza, her sister.
because the wedding day, they consummated marriage. So
Yeah.
pretty much the only time I think he probably even slept with her because
Yeah, maybe, because right after she got married to
He killed her.
old John.
Old John.
Well, yeah.
He was like in his, I think he dies like in his 70s, and when she marries him, he was already like, she's like 16, 50, and this guy's like almost hitting 60.
Yeah.
Which is, it's insane. And obviously she was always jealous of Kat because she's like, oh, I married this old guy I'm going to the mountains, and you're marrying the Prince of Winterfell. Was like, at least he's like around your age.
Yeah.
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 No, Ned was always respected.
Ned was
always
respectful.
respected. Like he's noble as hell. Like the epitome of a knight. Yeah, for sure. So what if was it the Gale, right? That they call it. Yeah. So what if you get this like crazy king, like this crazy kingdom up there, but like no one goes there. Like everyone forgets about it, right? That's the
Yeah.
whole thing where it's like They like to brag.
The Erie.
The Erie. That's
the
what it is.
castle. You know?
I do I would love to live at the Erie.
No, it's whenever
The moon door is nuts.
whenever they do show in the series, I love it because it's just a castle, like a insane.
I'm
Like I love
dying.
Castle on the edge of a.
I
of a, of a,
love the Game of
But
Thrones.
there's only one way
architecture.
in, one way
It's just-
out. Well,
that's
technically
it.
two ways. You
I-
go through the moon door.
From all the castles, but I was reading like hardest castles to besiege in
It's
the
the
Game of
Erie.
Thrones. It would be the Erie and Casterly Rock.
And
Because
obvious-
Casterly Rock is carved into
Oh,
a
yes,
mountain.
yes.
It's
No,
literally.
but look what Tyrion did. He designed the
That's the
Yes.
he did the plumbing system.
yeah.
And that's when his dad
The
found out,
sewers-
oh, you're pretty good with money.
Yeah.
So Tyrion, if Tyrion was ever on your side to try to besiege Casterly Rock, he would know how to sneak in
easily.
because he knows
But
all
the
the
Erie
tunnels.
didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah,
No.
Erie.
And-
one
you
way
need a
in,
dragon.
one way out.
But the
You
thing,
need-
you need
Ariel.
dragons. You need besides that, but yeah, I love that. But we still gotta touch base on the Baratheons. So we still got
Here.
we still got like obviously we know Robert Baratheon and the history of him stealing the well, what we call it, stealing, or he overthrew.
I mean,
and
he overthrew. It would have been like an overthrow and coup, but of the three of the military leaders, it would have been him,
but would it because
John Aaron, and it would have been Ned Stark. Of the three, he had the best claim to the throne.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
think he
his
stole it.
grandmother was a Targaryen.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
so
But
Ned,
he hated
Jon-
Targaryens. That was his problem, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really blame him when the person in power is the Mad King.
No, I remember. For one, the Mad King killed Ned's father and brother.
Yeah.
He boiled him. They boiled. I think they
Was
boiled
it
him alive.
No, he burned him.
He burned them. Okay.
Used the green
fire?
Yeah, there
green
you go.
fire on citizens.
He was
of King's
obsessed with that
Landing.
stuff because the pyromancer
Put it in
that
red
made
little
it,
The
pieces.
alchemist.
that the old guy, that the pyromancer that made it in the show, did it for the Mad King, I believe.
Yeah.
And so Robert is a grandson of a Targaryen, and also they did to this Aegon, what they think they kidnapped
His sister.
what's her name, Ned's sister. What was her name again?
Lyanna.
Lyanna. And then have the Tower
Well,
of
he's
Joy.
ups-
You have the Tower and Joy incident. So
And that's the problem with him and Cersei is that
He's always loved.
he didn't love Cersei at all.
Oh, Cersei, that was the unification.
That was a political play, man, for
100%.
money.
to bring in the Lannisters.
No, but it was Tywin. It
Yeah.
was Tywin. Tywin did that to get into King's
But,
Landing.
but the backstory to the whole
making Jamie the
Well,
part of the Kingsguard.
killing the Mad King, but just killing Elia and the
the mountain,
kids.
right?
Yeah, the mountain, raping her, then killing the kids, and that's on the orders of Tywin.
Talking about Jamie, that's what I mentioned earlier. Worst character arc, not because he was one of my favorite characters from maybe up to like season 5.
After
Just
he
because
clapped the cheeks of
Brienne.
Brienne.
They introduce him, like he's like the typical, like he could be like a typical, like the arrogant Disney prince. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
his looks-
Honestly, yeah. That's
He like
he's
literally he has the looks, the way he acts, he acted it perfectly, and then you find out more about him. He loses his hand, he travels with Brienne, and the conversation of him and Brienne when they're in the bath, and Brienne is like, "Oh, you're the Kingslayer. You shouldn't be talking about oaths because you broke the most important one." And then he mentions like, "Oh, well, who do you protect more? If the king is telling me burn them all, do you want me to kill him or let him kill millions of people in King's Landing?"
Yeah.
Brienne's face like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point. What do you do?"
Who's a ruler without subjects?
Yeah.
And then later on, when he's with who was he talking to?
Because wasn't he
Season
like
8?
getting like paranoid? The Mad King.
No, yeah, Matt King was going
yeah,
insane
yeah,
at this
yeah.
point.
The
Was seeing-
Targaryen curse, right?
He was
Like
saying,
that's the
He
idea.
was going mad, seeing things in the fire, which is like another theory with Bran sending him messages that didn't work, him working in.
Brand in the fire.
Yeah.
Booga,
No,
booga,
think about it. Burn them all. Who?
yeah.
The others.
Yeah.
Not the people.
The
So
dead.
it could have been that's like a theory with like how Bran worked into Hodor in a bad way because he gave Hodor brain damage when he was a younger boy.
Oh, that
So-
was a crazy.
So he
another
did the same
episode.
thing to the later on because time in this case would be flexible
Yeah.
because he's doing things from the past. In the future, he's affecting people.
He doesn't realize. Oh
Yeah.
shoot, that was me.
Yeah.
That's why Willis fell and hold.
Yeah, so that's like a popular theory that he was sending a message through the fire, and actually the Lord of Light is actually Green Seer throughout history, sending messages to people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, with Jamie, went on this tangent. But with Jamie, what he told before he left Brienne. Remember what he says after?
What did he
Right
say?
before? I never really cared about them.
Ah, yeah. Now I know
That's
what
not
you're
the
talking
point
about.
of Jamie.
Yeah. You're not the Kingslayer. Then you say that.
It destroys his character arc completely.
Yeah, because he
did
wants
care.
he wanted just to get back to Cersei.
Yeah, but I really I would be so surprised if George R. R. Martin in the books goes in that direction because he has that same setup of killing the Mad King for that reason why he killed him, and for him to then go back later on and be like, oh, you know what, I did that, but thinking about the moral reasons of like kings and peasants, but I don't really care actually.
Yeah, because Brienne is trying to fight like, hey, no, you are better than that. Like, you know, that girl, she fell in love with him hardcore, man.
Yeah, she did.
Man, but once he clapped them cheeks, bro, that's it. She started like got so emotionally attached, and then like, don't leave me.
But I know that was one thing that pissed me off because I was like, oh, this is cool. This is
Yeah.
like
Wholesome.
I did a wholesome relationship.
I gotta get back to Cersei.
Oh God. Yeah, and like Cersei was so toxic with him too.
I know, man.
I mean, yeah,
That was
But he
just,
was
like,
toxic too because man,
He's toxic,
he starts
too.
he claps her cheeks when Joffrey died. Like,
Yeah, that was so
Oh, yeah,
weird.
yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
Oh my god, I completely.
in
The
the
septum.
yeah.
I forgot that scene. Oh my
Oh,
god,
God, yeah, that was weird.
uncomfortable.
she's
I
like, this
remember-
is not right. He's like, I don't care.
Those are the moments in Game of Thrones where
I'm like, Jesus.
I don't know if
I
it's
look
like-
at my
this is
phone,
like- this
just
is like-
waiting for like the
This is
scene
like
to pass.
edgy for edgy's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
same thing with Sansa on her wedding night with Ramsay. Those were one of those scenes that I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to skip
I'm
through
like,
this.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We understand that Ramsey is a psychopath.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't
I
need- we
get
don't
it
need
now with the
this.
reek
Yeah.
stuff. You have to show me this now.
Yeah.
But then Jamie becomes like that too because after that episode, well, that scene where Euron is like, she like the finger in the bum. That scene transitions to Jamie in her room, and then she comes in and then she starts kissing him. He's like, no. And then she kisses him, and then she starts giving him head, and then it transitions into the
yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
And then the one of the aides knocks on the door, and she's getting up, like gonna go into her, and he's like, "They can't see us like that." She's like, "I don't care. I'm the queen
Yeah,
of the
I'm
Seven
the queen.
Kingdom."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like who's gonna?
And everyone kind of knew.
Everyone knew.
They didn't have direct evidence,
I
but
know.
everyone's like,
Everyone
all those kids
knew.
are pretty blonde, and you know the Baratheons are known to always have dark hair.
Yeah.
And why is all your children blonde?
How about with the nun? Confess.
Oh.
Where she got her revenge back.
That's
man.
a good like revenge.
That was good revenge when she got that.
And when the nun was like, "Just kill me," and
She's like, "No.
whoa,
Oh, no.
you're not gonna die for a long, long time."
Oh.
And
Dude,
then-
you're gonna stare
yeah,
at
yeah.
Sir.
The mountain comes
The
in.
mountain, yeah.
Mountain
Sir.
slash Frankenstein comes in,
Yeah.
and shame. That was a really good
Shame.
scene. Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, that's
I'm
season
just staring
6.
at that. You're laying tied up, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
seen that the dude looking at you the whole
Season-
time.
That thing is not even a man anymore, bro. It's a thing. Yeah.
Season 6 had, I think season 6 where like the major problems started coming out with the pacing of the story, like people teleporting, but Jon Snow becoming king, Cersei getting revenge on the nun, her explosion of the
Yeah.
Sept. There's still like peak scenes.
But we're
Sure.
missing
Wow.
we're missing some early scenes with so we got Renly, right? So we got Renly that wanted Ned to go ahead and pretty much take the Joffrey, Cersei into custody because see Renly was smart with that because he knew what was gonna happen and exactly what he said was gonna happen happened.
Yeah.
But Ned was like, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
remember that scene.
I'm not no bloodshed on these, you know, blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
Ned's
And-
Renly was
and-
like, support me, and Ned's like, you're talking treason.
yeah, your brother is the heir,
Like,
you know, like
Ned,
and
come on, you gotta see what's
but
going
this
happen.
is crazy. So we're gonna get into Stannis. So in the books, Stannis is a young. He's not young, like you know,
He's a veteran,
but
like,
he's a veteran because of that's why Ned supported him, right? Because he's been a general. He held Storm's Landing during Robert's Rebellion and
yeah.
then the other wars before that. But after Melisandre had the shadow baby in the books, it aged Stannis.
Interesting. See, that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
that would
yeah,
be
yeah.
interesting because it's like how did this produce? Oh yeah, he used your life force.
Exactly.
You know that's I like that continuity.
So in the show, you can see he's older, right? His hairline's receding or whatnot. But in the books, he's like obviously he has darker hair because Baratheons have the black hair. But when that happens, he's using life force and he starts looking older after all that.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But in the show, man, they overuse Melisandre, man, like
Oh,
the Lord of
God.
Light and like
She was
Stannis,
such plot armor at
and
times.
it's just like
that whole dark magic assassin baby.
Hey, man, the
thing.
Lord of the Light, man, it works in
well,
mysterious ways.
but every time it's like, oh, he's the Princess Promise, he's Prince of the Promise, and it got to Jon Snow, it's like he's the Prince of the Promise, and what is it, the Onion Knight,
Sir Davos.
Davos.
Sir Davos is like, well, I thought you said Stannis was the Prince of Light.
Yeah.
Or the Princess Promise, and and she keeps walking.
Yeah.
And this was at Castle Black.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah, she just like according to her, she just gets updated visions.
Visions.
Like, oh, it was Stannis. Oh,
How
now
convenient.
So in the books, like one of the things she says, like, I only see snow.
oh, you
So,
got
like,
King's
obviously-
blood. Let me see your cock.
I know.
That's
it's-
pretty much like what she's because
Like
look
when she
what Jon
refers to
Snow.
Azor
don't-
Ahai, when she refers in the books, when she refers to Azor Ahai, the prince who was promised, she says it's like a line. She says
Yeah.
through her vision, she says, "I only see snow." So like,
Yeah.
obviously the metaphor is Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And so like
The
in
battle
like,
in the snow. She's thinking, okay, it's Stannis winning Winterfell
Oh,
back
What was the? Because obviously Daenerys could be also the prince who was promised. What was it?
because the
Born in
no
fi-
gender on the Valyria.
Yeah, it was the prince wasn't. It was not gendered. What was it? Reborn in salt and what was it was like three major. Do you remember the three major things first the red comet that passed. That was the
Yes.
first sign.
That happened, and then Daenerys burned that witch, and then stepped to the fire,
she gets a
and
dragon,
and
yeah. she's
the
reborn
dragons
in
were born.
fire. It was like salt and fire, something like that. And then Melisandre takes it like that. Stannis was reborn in a battle he had near Dragonstone, and then Dragonstone had a lot of salt or something, and then she interprets that into
A
like
lot
the
of-
three
yes.
prophecies or something. And
Yes.
then Jon Snow has reborn, also when he died. So it could be all three of them.
I didn't like her character.
Who,
Melisandre?
Melisandre?
Nah, I didn't like it because it was an intriguing character at first, and then the immediate thing that turned me off was the scene with the like shadow assassin thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you do that type of magic one time, no one ever talks about it afterwards, and it's like it's
No
never
one
done
uses
again.
it.
Well, so then it's like
Stannis said that Sir Davos like don't ever speak about this again or
yeah,
whatnot.
but it was just crazy to me where it was just like something so
It's pretty
OP,
powerful. Yeah.
and then it's like
It sneaks into and assassinates a king.
in the book, it's Renly's very like more bigger than what the show perceives him to be.
right? All the Baratheons
He has
are like a
he
lot
has
bigger.
like the royal Knights Guard or something like that. They all were like different colors, but
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
all like specialized.
Yeah,
in
because
something.
Robert was huge. In the
Yes.
books, like I
Yeah.
think he's like supposed to
That's
be
why,
like
man,
6'7"
Well,
or something like that.
Loras
And then
Tyrell, he was part of Renly's Kingsguard.
yeah.
And he
Tyrell was
was
like part of like the Flower Knights.
Yes.
some Rainbow Knights. Something
the
like
Rainbow
that. Yeah.
Knights of the Knights or
The
Knights Guard,
High Garden.
High Garden,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, she was just used a lot, like loosely for a lot of.
I did like her
armor.
during the long night battle, like when she lights the thing on fire because there was a dark episode. You couldn't see anything.
Okay.
Jesus.
That
Lord.
part. Oh my. Okay. Now we're gonna.
They
now,
think they're Helm's Deep so.
now we're
bad.
going to go in like in pure like hatred. Oh my.
Yeah. Then the way she dies.
You're in Winterfell, and you put your soldiers outside the walls. That's what walls are built. Stay in your walls.
Because
What are you
Winterfell,
doing?
Winterfell is,
And run
is
into the dark.
the story of behind Winterfell is like you can withstand, you can hold Winterfell with hundreds
Yeah, they have like
Yeah.
huge grain
Against-
storage.
armies.
Even Theon
I mean,
said
it's
it.
built.
when-
Yes.
It's built for like
10 people
long-
can hold Winterfell against
Even
you know,
Theon
thr-
said it where he was like, "Yeah, it's just 12 of us here. We can hold it from the Starks."
Yeah, it's built to survive the long winters, like
Yeah.
the long winters that can survive.
We have assembled probably the equivalent of the Mongol horde. Let's send them directly out
and there's
there.
passages underneath Winterfell that you can escape out of too.
all through the crypts. Yeah.
Yep. all through the crypts.
That's when we start getting bad. And
But-
then Melisandre, my plot armor is done. Walks out into the middle of the field.
Disintegrates.
I've done your work, Lord of Light. Take me home. Yeah.
Well, she tells Varys that in Dragonstone, like, I gotta come back to this land or whatnot. I have to die here.
Yeah, that was a prophecy to Varys, like, oh, you're gonna die in a foreign land or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously it was Westeros for him. But have you guys ever
He
seen?
didn't like his ending too. Like the actor who played him.
Oh, the way he was caught, the master.
Stannis's character?
No,
Varys.
Varys.
Oh, Varys.
The
Oh,
master
for sure.
spy, master intrigue guy.
Yeah.
Gets caught because they saw his email.
Yeah,
pretty
seriously.
much.
Like
Seriously.
expert CIA.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's that's the because remember he had a letter.
But
they caught his
Lord
letter.
Tyrion just kept getting in trouble after another, and Daenerys was getting fed up with her. Well, that's why she took off to go after the fleet. She's like, I keep listening to you. I'm not listening to you anymore. And she hops on the dragon. Jon
Yeah.
Snow's still there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're dealing with that. And then what's his name? Theon shows up.
Yes.
You don't need breathing because what
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
for Sansa.
Yeah.
Because he was ready to kill him.
Yeah, and then
But
he said, "Oh, I gotta, Yura, his sister.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
have to
because
save her."
he has to
and
save
then,
her.
And then Jon's like,
He was asking
"Why do
for
you keep
help.
talking to me."
Yeah.
And then Euron's like, "That was Euron had a good character arc. I think he."
You mean Theon?
Yeah. Yeah, Theon.
Okay.
Yeah. Theon Greyjoy because like he did what he did, betrayed the Starks. Obviously, didn't deserve what he
Did you
got
like
from
Theon
becoming Reek.
when he was behind her on the horse? He reaches down.
And then he gets there. At first, I was like, man, this guy has some like medieval riz. And then pulls up. He's like, that's her sister.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, ah, God.
Medieval.
I hate that she let him.
She's just going with it.
I was
Like, all right.
oh
Okay.
my God. Yeah. It was,
And then after that, like during that part where you're talking about with Yara and then what's the mom to the Sand sisters, and they start messing around and whatnot.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
remember her name, but I know what you're talking about.
oh,
But yeah, Oberyn's
Petra
the Sand
mistress.
Snakes. But what I like about like Oberon's history, because obviously he's in the books and the storyline, he's big, right? Because
Yeah.
he has like I don't know how many kids, like 9 kids or
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
He has
You know
like,
He's a man of the world,
Those
man.
doors.
those doors.
Yeah, I think
my
they have
land.
like multiple.
Yeah.
They're like a lot more like liberal in their world.
Well, they
have
don't care
concubines
about
and
if
the women
you
too.
a guy or girl. They go like I'm you know.
Yeah, even
Georgia
the women, I think,
Sand.
are supposed to have concubines too over there. And like the like King's Land, Tywin's like, how you have women? Do you remember this? I just remember when I said that. Do you remember the scene with when Tywin found out about Loras, right? Because Loras is gay.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he's talking to Olenna.
Yeah.
And Olenna's like, oh, that's fine. That's cool. All he needs to do, his job is to make an heir.
That's it.
He
That's
could
it.
do that. He could, on his private life, he could do whatever he wants.
Yep.
And then to Tywin, she was like, you know, with the boys in the stables, you never did when you were young. And Tywin looks at her and he's like, never. It was such a good scene.
Every time I look at him when I rewatch the show, I'm like, I picture him from Underworld.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. He's like the elder.
The elder.
One of the
vampire.
elder vampires.
Marcus or something like
No,
that.
he was no, he was the one that killed his daughter, and this Celine is the one that
that looks like her.
remember.
That
Yes.
looks- yeah.
So that's why he
I
took her
completely
in.
forgot. Yeah, he was
But every time I see him, I look
like
at
electric blue eyes.
and he's Dracula, the one with
Oh, the horrible Dracula. When they were trying to remake the monster universe
Yes.
with like Tom Cruise with the mummy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But it goes
Forgot
back
his
to
name.
Transylvania attacking like the Turks. Yeah.
yes.
And he's like the vampire in the mountains or
He
something.
gives him the blood, and he
And he becomes Dracula, yeah.
And it frees him. So when I see him, I always see the vampire version. But he drove me crazy. Bro.
Tywin?
Tywin.
I mean, Tywin is a
He's
very
an
good
amazing
character.
actor.
Oh
He's
my
an amazing
God.
actor.
Yes, he is. But
Tywin himself.
his character is made me mad because I'm
Yeah.
like, he just because it was well the whole magic shit came into place with the the Joffrey dying, because of the leeches, right, on Gendry.
Yeah.
Melisandre, she messed up for doing that, man. Getting that guy all hyped up, sleeping with him, and then while he's not paying attention, it ties him up. But
You have blood of blood of kings or something like that. Yeah.
But with Tywin though, is like he's the one that pretty much sent to get Rob killed and the whole Red Wedding and then you hear the.
I mean, all the success of the Lannisters
just-
is like Tywin.
But
Yeah.
I like how Tyrion says something about it, because even Tyrion, even though he's part of this family, he didn't approve of them just murdering, obviously the queen because she was pregnant.
His wife.
Yeah.
What he did. Remember
Yeah.
the story? He says like, by the end of like basically when she was like when Tywin just sent his guards and men on her, that silver coins were falling out of her hands. And I think that was the scene when he's like playing the drinking game with Bronn and not Shireen. Shireen's a daughter. The girl who
Shay.
betrays him, Shay.
Yeah.
That was the guy. Yeah, like okay. I mean, on top of everything else,
But
I
my thing
understand why
about
he
but
killed
what,
Tywin.
what bothered me a lot too. Not only that,
Yeah,
he's
it's a lot
sleeping with the girl he's in love with, but he calls her a whore.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, okay, the Lannisters are like, oh, money wins wars, right? Because Cersei says that a lot. But then he's like, you didn't send a war to go kill Rob. You pretty much hired the Boltons to murder them.
I mean, multiple times in the show, he always put down Cersei because that's similar to the books too. Cersei thinks she's a lot smarter than she actually is.
She's not.
So I think she's like
Well, in the
cunning,
books,
and
she's like stupid in the books.
Yeah. She's always thinking like, oh, I'm 3D chat. I mean, that gives her almost an advantage.
Yeah.
Because even though Lena says it, I never thought she would go to Jamie. I never thought she would go this far.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like blowing up the Sept.
That's crazy.
That was
Well, the Sept is below the Sept. Wasn't it the Dragon Pit?
No,
and back in
was
House
like
and Dragon?
all those tunnels throughout King's Landing that the
All
Mad King
connected.
built
Yeah.
with all the.
But in House of the Dragon, and obviously season 1, at the
Dragon
Sept, the
Pit
Dragon
is
Pit's
down
underneath
there.
there. It's
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
That's where they built the Sept on top
Yeah.
of the Dragon Pit. Okay, I don't even know that.
That's where they get their coronation.
Yeah, but Cersei ended up using the same locations that the Mad King when he started
For the
storing
Blackfire.
Was it Wildfire?
The wildfire.
wildfire, the strategic positions throughout King's Landing.
Because remember, everything came from the bottom, shot up.
But it was wow. Yeah, I didn't.
Even if
expect
they were
that.
able to escape, they weren't going to get that far because you see how fast that wildfire expanded.
Yeah.
And that bell flow and hit somebody. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's a good.
That was a crazy scene. Where it's just it definitely solidified Cersei as I'm the threat.
Yeah, you
She's-
can't predict her.
Yeah,
you know
I'm
she's
the
not like the
threat,
smartest. So you're saying like, but you can kind of expect. You wouldn't expect it from Tywin, right? Because you're like,
No.
oh, Tywin wouldn't do that. I
No,
mean, he would lose like
so much spectacle.
and I mean, you're blowing up the Sept. These are highly religious people.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You're going to lose the church. Obviously, the power of the church. The peasants are going to like you. You're looking at a rebellion.
Yeah.
But Cersei's the type of person who's like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
she's not looking for stability. Tywin
Yeah.
looked for, like, stability for the Lannister family.
Yeah.
Cersei, at this point, had lost all her
Yeah, because he's like,
children.
I'm old. I'm gonna die eventually.
so
like,
she
I
didn't care
I
at
need
all.
heirs. I need people who are gonna continue this bloodline.
Exactly.
Now realizing, yo, your twins are like smashing.
Your twins are smashing.
My thing though, tell me about this character, the trainer Arya's with.
Oh,
so-
the Bravos dude.
Yeah, what
Syrio Farrell, right?
Serial? He's the sword. What is it? The sword of
Sword
Bra-
master of one of those free cities from.
No, but he had a title because
I
he
know.
was in the books. He was like a big guy.
Well, yeah, he's a big deal. Yeah.
He was a big deal with sword fighting and all that stuff. So that's why he was able to beat them up with a wooden sword.
I will say that Bravos is a very underused, very cool section of the world.
Yes.
That didn't get enough attention, and the few times it is did, I think they butchered.
Well, it tells you right there.
Like even Arya, like I think they completely
Arya's
butchered her
storyline,
character.
like, well, before I go into like Arya, but the reason I laughed was because
face gods.
Syrio Farrell, when Arya, she goes on like her
Yeah.
buddy journey with the Hound.
Yes.
And
Hound.
yeah, so they're arguing back and forth like they always did, and she was talking about her sword master, Syrio Farrell, and then she was like, "He's the best sword master in the world." Oh yeah, this guy Syrio, you know how the Hound
Yeah.
talk, the guy Syrio Farrell. Yeah, he lost against something. Brand, I forgot the guy's name, and he's like, I was
Oh.
like, he lost against him. He starts laughing. That's the worst night I ever know. He didn't have a sword. Your sword master didn't have a sword.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, it's a funny back and forth. 'Cause I
Funny
remember
back and
that.
forth.
Yeah,
Scene.
because they were practicing. Like, Syria should have had a real sword somewhere,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because he could have slayed them down. But
But we're talking about like the lore. It's still pretty cool in the series, in the show. But the lore of the faceless men in Bravos,
Dude, it's crazy.
The weirwood, the huge weirwood, a whole black ebony
Yeah.
half door, and half of the other door was made of weirdwood, and that's a huge door with the faceless men
Yes.
insignia.
Yes.
You open there, all the pillars with
The
all
black
the
and white.
faces, like the weird mystery of like they come. They're as old as Valyria, the state, the empire itself. There's a whole other theory with like
It has its
they're the one
own-
causing the doom.
his own island, and it's crazy, right? Because when you see the house just on this little land, and how much room is actually down there.
Yeah, that's one thing that I liked because it was almost like a fun house.
Yes.
Right? Whereas when Arya first like went up to it, it's what you said, Matt. You could kind of see this house. It almost seemed windowless. That looked like just
Yeah.
a door. You could almost see the other side. It's like You're like, okay. And then Arya goes in, and then you're inside.
Dude, this
wow, this is
where
kind
the
of
faces are at,
expansive.
It's
what-
massive.
Yeah, yeah. So I like the unsettling illusion of it, right? Where it was so cool, and I think they rushed through it because
I've
like
always liked assassin story.
yeah, like the whole
like,
assassin thing
and
was
this
cool.
concept of assassin was like the idea of like, is this magic or they just
yeah. That was the
like,
thing, bro. It was
yeah,
like, what is
they
it? Is
never
it
really
magic?
referred-
Is it
but I was-
skill?
I
Like,
was fine with the training. It was just like
And they're like cleaning the body.
I wasn't.
They
I
had
was-
they
I
had
know
like,
you hated it
they-
because
they
I know
had
the
some-
stabbing scene and whatever.
they had some kind of like I don't know. It just seemed like some like religious process.
Yeah.
the body comes in.
Yeah.
they're scrubbing the
100%
body down,
ritualistic.
cleaning
Yeah,
them
yeah,
up,
yeah.
and then they carve out the face.
Yeah,
and then-
I mean, yeah, they never really go into it, but it has to be some sort of, Game
I
of Thrones.
I did not like that
Essos
girl
magic.
though that kept messing with Arya. Man,
Dude,
she
one
just,
of the well,
she kept pissing me off.
that we know of.
it doesn't make sense to me.
How many assassins
Because
do you think they've shown? Like, how many actual individuals that, obviously not including Arya? It would be. I would think it would be two. Jaqen, the half white hair, half red hair
Yeah, yeah.
guy.
The girl.
And he dies, and then he's oh, it's not me, or whatever. Remember that scene?
yes,
So maybe 3 assassins.
the only thing I didn't
I don't think
like,
the girl was him. I don't know.
the only thing I didn't like was, and you could tell it was just writing. It was just writing and pacing. Because at first it's like, I'm like, okay, Arya's getting trained. And then I hated how like from a one episode to another, or like one moment to another, Arya went from like getting her ass kicked by this other girl, and then like she just had like an awakening moment, and then like Arya now is like
yeah, because she killed her in the room. She cut
And
the candle.
And then like the whole thing with this girl not liking Arya, you have Jacqueline over here telling Arya, yeah, you're not ready, you understand. And I'm like, what about that girl? It seems like she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Like you guys are all part of this fraternity, pretty
Yeah.
much, right? You all are assassins who support each other throughout the ages. You could obviously see that this girl's being hard on Arya. Isn't that girl
Yeah.
not ready also?
What would he tell Arya? Like, a girl has no name or
A
something.
girl
Yeah.
has no
This-
name. But then it's the whole idea too, where that whole chasing out of nowhere. Then like Arya gets
I didn't even
stabbed.
mention that. Yeah, stabbed.
Arya gets stabbed, running through. The girl's just walking. I'm like, you're an assassin.
Jumps
Like,
into
assassins don't work like
jumps
this.
into dirty water.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the stab wounds infected.
I know.
Where in the
Then kills her
beginning-
in the dark. Remember,
where
like
in
the
the
whole
beginning-
She takes needle.
with
just,
needle.
Where in the beginning of Game of Thrones, you had people that would get like brisked by an arrow, and it's like, yep, he's dying.
well, look
Like,
at what was it? Viserys, King Viserys. He got a cut from the throne and ended up.
What do you got? Like
that's
he got like
the curse of
leprosy.
a weak
Just got
king.
like got cut on the
That's the
throne.
curse of a weak king.
Got cut on the throne once, gets leprosy.
I know.
Yo, for real.
I know.
Got tetanus and everything from
mean,
that.
even
Just like falling, eye socket, eye missing.
How did
How old are
Ro-
you? I'm 35.
How did Robert die? How did Robert die?
from a boar.
Yeah. Oh, he got skewed by a boar. He had the best doctors in the realm sitting there, and they couldn't save him. He died. Arya gets stabbed
Look at
in
the
the
pop, he
gut.
fixes everything.
Arya gets stabbed in the gut, starts running through its city, falls into a shit water of a river, comes out. And it's like,
Yeah.
And then after this whole scene, she kills Jacqueline, right? Because we still don't even know if that motherfucker's dead.
Yeah.
And then Arya returns to Westeros, and out of nowhere now she's
Well,
like
at the end
a
of it,
superhero.
she's pointing the sword to him, and he's like, "I'm Arya, a Stark of Winterfell, and I'm going home or whatnot."
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Arya's story in the books is so good. Like I said, like, I love the assassin story bit of it. The faceless men. She's a warg in the books.
My
just, like,
favorite
imagine
scene-
a warg assassin faceless men.
Yeah.
like that's so cool.
The
and
last
then
season with
she
her
wants to
was
go to the west. Remember?
yeah. Well, no, she
Let me find
wanted.
America.
Well,
Remember?
she wanted to. Well, first of all, she
That's
wanted
the
to kill
end scene,
Cersei, but yeah, she wanted to see what's far as west,
Yeah.
right? What's
Yeah,
far
yeah,
as
yeah.
Westeros. But my thing is, they took the thunder away from Jon and gave it to her because there should have been a battle scene between Jon and the Night
Yeah.
King. That was a fight scene we should have gotten. But
But did I? What was it called? Did I change your expectations? So yeah, I feel like that's the only point. They just wanted to like surprise people.
I gotta say, her best scene is when she kills Warden Frey.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
Listen.
man.
I feel I'm split between that scene. You know why? Because she comes back for revenge.
Yeah,
Which
that was the first place she went to.
Yeah, which I completely understand. You know why? Because like she watched her
Well, her and the Hound showed up.
Yeah, and
at
she
the end of the Red
her
Wedding
brother's headless body
with the direwolf.
with her brother's direwolf's head, like they
Sewed on it.
sewed it on.
on
That's
his body.
traumatizing.
Yeah, I
I
completely
would do
forgot about that.
disturbing things to these people too.
And then remember they
But
walk
what I
in.
hated-
saw the beheading of
hold
Ned
on,
too.
Hold on. But what I hated about that scene, I loved it. First off, I loved it. I thought it was dark as fuck. I'm like, damn, I guess she's a serial killer
Yeah.
now. What I didn't like is that remember, she's a faceless person now, right? Yeah, she's a faceless person. She dressed up as a maid.
Yeah.
So she killed that poor maid for no reason.
Yeah.
I can understand. I cooked your
implied.
boys into this pie.
Yeah, because
okay, I get it. That's dark.
She had to kill her and carve her face out. And everything.
I get it. I get that, right? Like what the phrase did to her family. I get that. But then I'm like, the whole thing that bothers me about it, I'm like, damn, dude.
Damn,
she
Arya
really
doesn't-
killed an
Damn,
innocent
Damn, Arya,
maid.
don't go that far.
I'm like, damn, Arya, take it easy,
Yeah.
bro.
I
Shit.
understand that killing Frey, Cersei.
That was a wild
Where
scene.
my son's at? And he's looking. They're right here, my lord.
They're right there, my lord.
What do you mean? I can't see that, my lord. They're right there, and he looks in and he
Yeah.
see the missing.
I didn't even get. I remember watching
It was
I was
hard
like,
to.
I'm like, what is going on?
What's she say? They were hard to
Yeah.
carve or hard to
Something like that.
And
Yeah.
then it's like he tries. Come on, you gotta
And
escape.
the first thing he told her, "You want to mine?" Like it was like he has like
Yeah.
$80, so he's like, "You look too good to be one of mine." He's like
He's
some
like,
some
and
crazy
she-
thing like that.
and she's
which
she's
is-
smirking too when she gets
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to me, right? Because you go Arya the horse face, right? So it's like you almost feel like Arya would go around and people would recognize her because she's ugly,
yeah.
right? Where it's like, oh, you look too
Yeah, because
good.
Sansa has in the book. Sansa has a look.
Sansa has the
she
Tully,
was like-
the Tully,
the Tully
like,
right- even
like
Rob,
hotness,
Yes.
right?
even
Yeah.
Rob,
Rob
like
does
the ones
too.
who look like pure Starks are. John is just like a spitting image of Ned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Arya's like a Stark. Like they're the
Yeah.
like the ones that.
That's why in the show she's like a tomboy.
I don't
she
remember-
doesn't see herself as a lady.
I don't remember how they refer to Rickon in the books. I don't know if he looks like a Stark. I think he does. I don't think they mentioned him having.
Well, he
like,
looks
red
ruggy in the show
hair, like-
anyways.
Yeah.
yeah, because Rob has like just red hair. He has like, the totally red hair.
I felt like Arya had a weird arc where, like you just mentioned, right? Where like I could understand like the whole revenge for her family,
Yeah.
but then she has like a weird, like, oh, I killed him, but then you see her have kind of like a Dexter, like, oh, killing these people makes me feel good type thing. And I'm just like, is she a hero? Is she a serial killer now? Like, I don't understand.
I think she was just like an anti-villain
It was weird. Yeah, I would
or
see that.
anti-hero. Let's put it like that.
Anti-hero, I could see
But
that for
but hey, Gendry wanted that, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
He wanted to make her
And
Lady
then
of Storm's
They
End.
show Arya afterwards. Gendry's like, and like Arya's like, oh,
Ah,
I
that's
guess
it.
I go to America.
I go to America.
Yo, yeah, for real, Genji fell in love with her, but it's just the storyline. Like, obviously, there's a lot of big moments, but my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes, obviously, we talked about it, Battle of the Bastards, right? That was such a great scene.
It is a good scene.
Not because of Jon Snow and Ramsay. It's just the fight scene prior to leading up
prior
to
to
him
that.
killing.
Prior to that. Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I loved how they depict like the gritty
Yeah.
warfare of it.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
Jon Snow almost.
Yo, did that give you anxiety when he gets all those bodies thrown
Yeah,
on top
yeah,
of him?
yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah, I
can't
love that
breathe
scene.
either.
I was like, man, like
His
being
man,
in
the other man, it's
like my Lord of the I'm sorry, Azor Ahai, Lord Commander of the Night's Watch is going to die just like because he's
got trampled.
got trampled
he
by
got
his own men.
trampled.
That, that was a good scene.
It was giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
And then, damn, the giant, man. Freaking Ramsey.
The-
Shoot him
the
in the
last
head. Shoot him in the
giant.
eye,
I'm
man.
sorry.
The last giant.
That guy,
What was
man,
his
that
name?
guy took that guy took
Pretty
some
sure
hits.
they said his name.
I forgot his name.
they
I
had
don't
him.
remember.
What's his name? Says that he's the last of his kind, the king beyond the wall.
Yeah.
Which obviously, you see that scenario like
And funny enough, that guy, what was his name? Who united all the tribes?
yes.
That actor, he's the one who plays Caesar in the Rome HBO series.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
the same actor.
Oh, that's good.
He's an
That's good
amazing
to
actor.
know.
He played an amazing.
I think he did great
Caesar.
because remember he was a man of the Night's Watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Yes,
was a crow.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
I mean, obviously, King of Beyond the Wall. But I'm trying to remember his name. Do you remember his name?
no, I don't remember his name, but I know
He's a good. Yeah, he's a good
I
character.
can't tell you what my favorite scene
Starts
is.
with an M.
What is my favorite scene?
That sounds right.
But the long night was my favorite. The battle. I forgot the name of that episode.
The battle for Winterfell.
I
yeah,
guess.
hated
it
that.
might have been something long. The
hated
long
that.
night.
I hate that was probably
the
Why?
rather
Because it was so dark.
the one night.
Multiple things.
It's-
Multiple
if
things.
if it is
I want
called-
to. I want to list them.
The best what?
No. The thing I hated
Oh.
about like this Battle of Winterfell was hyped so much. The producers were like, we referenced the Helm's Deep battle in Lord of the Rings. I'm like, oh, so this is gonna be epic.
Yeah.
This is gonna be epic. No, it wasn't epic. There, again, Winterfell. All their soldiers are outside. You assembled the largest like horse horde.
Westeros has ever seen.
The Dothraki, right? Like you sent the Rohirrim out against the undead
In the dark.
and the dark.
Man, it was pitch black on that episode.
I will say, it was pitch black. It was hard to see.
Crazy.
So that whole thing with the Dothrakis, how dark it was. I will say probably one of the things that pissed me off the most was the dragon.
Which one?
The dragon that got revived by the Night King, because a few episodes before, when the White Walkers are all coming
Yeah.
to go past the wall, this revived dragon destroys this ancient wall that's been holding them back so quickly. Right? Quickly.
But it's blue fire.
Quickly. Blue fire. And then there's we fast forward to the long night battle,
Yeah.
the battle for Winterfell. And Jon is running.
Isn't that the vision that the Hound sees in the fire?
Oh yeah, he does
Was-
see a vision of
The
it.
castle near the edge of the wall.
Yeah.
With near the water and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
The dead is
That
there.
completely
Yeah.
forgot he saw
So
and then
I'm thinking he's seeing that scene happening.
yeah. So then again, we fast forward to the Battle of Winterfell. Jon is running throughout, trying to, I think, go to Bran, where they set up the
Yes.
Like,
the trap
under the weirwood.
Yeah,
No.
they set up this trap,
Yeah.
right? And then he's stuck. Why? Because the dragon lands like in the courtyard,
Yep.
and Jon Snow hides behind
Yeah.
a rock that this dragon just decides to breathe fire on, and for some reason, this rock is like, is that the best you got? And proceeds to stand behind this rock for I don't know how long in this episode.
Until
where they
Arya kills the Night
you know,
King.
they cut back to like different things, and then
Yeah.
they'll come back to Jon.
Yeah.
He stands up, looks at the dragons, hiding. I think you were safe behind the apparently this impenetrable rock.
So
That's a good rock.
He could have killed. He could have hurt. He has a Valyrian steel
Yeah,
sword.
no,
He could have hurt.
I'm okay. I'm
Could've
okay
done
if
something,
Jon
not
would have
like-
done something with
not
the
yelling at
dragon.
it. Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
problem is that you can't show this dragon fire breathing down a ice wall that's held back
Yeah.
8,000
centuries
years.
That's-
of things, and then a singular rock that Jon is bending over.
Like that's gonna protect you.
Yeah, and it does, and then like the whole thing
It's
with
a strong Winterfell rock.
and how quickly this like Night King guy
Dude,
gets taken out.
that was a terrible writing right there because there's
you
no
could tell.
fight.
You could tell.
There's no action between the Night King and Jon or anybody
Anyone.
because he just kills whoever he
Night King
kills.
is just like walking around
Bro,
smugly.
even if
Just-
you want,
Oh, that's
Look
what
at
he did.
you, smiling.
I think he smiles
even
like
if you
one or
want,
two times,
Yeah.
right?
even if you want Arya to kill the Night King, okay.
We need an epic.
There was
Make
no build.
it
There was
like-
but also there was no build up to like referring her to. Because I could see a theory like her being like the prince who was promised too.
Sure.
But it wasn't build up.
But there
to
was no
her at
fight.
all.
We should have had like a fight
Yeah.
like the duel on Mustafa.
But she,
I mean, honestly,
that was be better.
I don't disagree.
I'm
with
sure
you.
that the Night King can fight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
At that, what
He
season
threw,
is that?
he threw an ice spear going like 100
Oh.
miles per hour, aiming
He's like-
at the dragon.
he's like-
and kills him in one shot.
Dude, like
Yeah.
his
But
and Arya just like
but young
That takes you
Easily.
out.
but young teenage girl appearing from the dark and void teleports out of nowhere and stabs
Yeah.
me once. I shatter.
I
and then everybody else starts shattering.
yeah.
I've never liked that with like
That was
I don't
terrible
know
writing.
about like
Terrible
'cause,
writing.
like you could argue like the whites and the others are like this adult consciousness that
Yeah.
you know but
Like
I
a
don't
hive
like
mind type
yeah
thing?
but I've never liked hive mind villains that end up dying after you kill like the main one.
Yeah.
Then it's
It
like, is
defeats
it
the
a-
purpose
a
of hive mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
right?
should have seen like some battles, maybe like Jorah Mormont fighting a White Walker, or because he what we got them see him use what was the Heartsbane,
Yeah.
the Valyrian steel from the Tully family. Like you see a lot of these big names.
There
in-
should have
in-
definitely.
in Game of Thrones history, right? And it's like, dude, they did not do Ice didn't do no justice. Ned used it to chop off the guy's head, and that was it.
You never saw the sword again.
After he executed that guy,
The deserter.
Yeah, the deserter. That's it.
I'm
like-
I agree with you with that statement because like you had the Night King and he
Had his own sword.
The Night King had with what you thought were like commanders, right? Because you had like the mindless like
Just
soldiers,
Yeah.
resurrected whites.
But you could see that like the Night King had maybe like
Yeah,
six
what
or
are they,
seven
like these
correct
types of-
commanders.
Yeah.
Why couldn't like all our main characters maybe have fought one of them versus before
Maybe
Jon Snow
Brienne
killed,
fighting somebody.
where then-
John is fighting.
John kills one, and the first one who killed one was Jon Snow. Oh my god,
Your favorite actor, your favorite character of the book.
Jon
Sam
Snow's-
Wilton.
Sam Wilton, good old Sam.
Oh, good,
Good
old
old
Sam.
Sam.
It's always the Sams.
It's always the Sam.
The Sam's a reference to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
What was it? What was his dad when he brought Gilly?
Oh my God, yeah.
You
that
gonna get
was-
him, wait, something about getting more fat, keep on eating. He's like, okay.
I would
yeah,
have
his
I
dad
would
was,
have thought you would have lost all that weight at the wall.
Randall Tarley, right?
Randall,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
he was
Bald,
that.
bald, stern commander from the Reach.
And Dick on Tarley,
Yeah.
the brother.
A Targaryen apologist.
This is my son, Dickon.
You heard?
So,
It was like a Targaryen apologist.
Yo, for real.
Yeah, bro, because he was against Robert's rebellion.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, he's the only one to ever beat Robert.
maybe
was
the
Randall
Matt,
Tarly.
maybe
true.
The Matt, yeah. Oh yeah,
He's the
completely
only
forgot.
one to ever
Yeah.
beat him in
Yeah,
combat
during the war, right?
During the war, yeah.
that's true. Completely forgot about
I
that.
just want to see
They
a
also
live
have a-
action Robert's armor, bro. Because I've seen too many like
like
fan
concept art,
drawings,
yeah.
concept arts where it was like just like the Baratheon like antlers on
But
the, like,
whoever
the
they hire,
demon,
if they
you
do
know,
that,
like,
if
so-
they do that, whoever they hire has to be a pretty big guy.
me, bro, me.
Yeah,
what do you think I've been bulking for? It's that part. That part.
Minimum, like I would say, like if they want to go like crazy lore accurate, like minimum like 6'3". Like we're talking like almost mount smaller than the mountain, like almost
But
like
at least like the Hound.
like the Hound, like
Yeah.
Hound
Yeah.
size
Yeah.
type guy.
Yeah.
And I would say even like maybe more muscular than the Hound, and just carrying the huge hammer,
Warhammer,
the
baby.
Warhammer. Yeah, that and him fighting Aegon.
Oh my god.
I wanna see
and
that.
the battle by the what was the river called?
The God's Eye?
no,
It's
no,
not the
no,
God's
no.
Eye.
They
It was
renamed
that
it after
area.
Robert beat him.
Oh, the Trident.
Tried
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Um,
but didn't it have another name after Robert beat
I'm
him there?
pretty sure like,
Killed him
it's
there?
always, it was always called the Trident, but I'm
No, it
pretty
was
sure
the
that
Trident.
area he killed him.
At the Twins, near the Twins.
Ruby River.
Remember,
Maybe.
it's something like that
With
because
the
of the
ruby.
ruby
Yeah.
that breaks off of
It's-
the breastplate.
Yes, it's funny
It's
though.
Ruby something.
During during the Battle of the Trident, you know, everybody's fighting, people dying, and then you have Warden Frey show up late, and they always mess with him about that. Like, you know, you showed up after the fact.
Yeah. But
Prince
he acts
Rhaegar
like
dies,
I
he's
mean,
like-
he was just
I
playing,
supported
the
the
field
king.
because he was like,
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna win. If
And
it's
he
Robert,
knows
I'm with Robert.
He knows he has a great asset, which is the Twins.
Yeah, yeah.
He has the bridge.
You know, it's funny.
They can live it. They
It's
can
actually smart, man.
They can besiege the Twins for like the description of that castle. It'll take years.
Terrible battle man. He has like his
Yeah, but
people suck.
They can just
Yeah.
stockade themselves.
No,
with the
but
Twins.
it was good, bro. Like he shows up late, whoever the winner is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was coming for you. We're
long
here to
live
help
the
you.
long live the king.
The only one that was very
Long may he
rebellious
reign.
was
He is so strong.
yeah. What's his name? The Greyjoys. Because they were open rebellion and they
Oh
lost.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
They've always been pushed back.
Well, remember that's how Theon got kidnapped
he
pretty
got
much.
He was a hostage.
No,
Basically.
it wasn't even kidnapped. Wasn't he like?
You know, he was
a-
a
he was-
hostage.
he-
No, I know,
a
but
ward.
then like the war ends and he was kept as like
well,
like a
hostage.
hey,
like
this
a-
is what
yeah.
you know as like
That's
an
why he goes to
apology
the north.
for the rebellion.
He was the main heir to
To-
the king of Pike or the Iron Isles.
The Iron
Isles. So
Islands.
he was basically
So
a
Ned
ward.
took
Ned
him.
Stark to basically,
Yeah.
a prisoner of war, basically.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, but knowing Ned, that he
raised
treated
him as
like
a son.
He raised him as a son.
God damn it, Theon!
Fuck.
Turned into a terrible guy, man. And then, but hey, at least he redeemed himself at the
Yeah,
end.
it was a good,
anyway.
not like Jamie. But the Iron Isles.
He has probably the best redemption.
no
was
definitely.
Theon.
Yeah.
You know,
Theon had the best.
sacrificed
I would say
himself.
I
probably
think
the best
that was the
character
only
arc.
way.
It was sad seeing
it
him
was-
Felt satisfactory.
die
No,
at the end.
It was just from the point of the whole thing. Like we're going back to it, but the whole thing with Ramsay. From that moment, I was just my emotions towards Theon were always like, fuck Theon. Like I feel bad. Like the only way you're gonna be able to like redeem yourself, you have to sacrifice yourself for a Stark,
something, like
for a Stark,
Stark,
whether it's
the war,
Sansa,
like Arya.
no, bro, the Starks, like not even the war, just the Starks. You have to do something for the Starks, dude. You ruined everything, because he could have easily held Winterfell and
Sure.
then kept it like John, Rick, or Rob will come back, or Bran, and be like, guys, here I am. You know, like we grew up together.
Yeah.
You know, like
Because he
this is-
started dressing like them too. That's why
Yeah.
his dad was like,
Oh, yeah, you dress. I want to say he said a
dress
word
like
too, like
one.
you're speaking like those fancy Northmen.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
Like that.
and you look at his dad, dude, you look like a hot mess, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the thing. That's the vibe of the Iron Isles, right?
Yeah.
Like they were just kind of
Savages.
piratey. They're pirates,
Yeah,
I
pirates.
think. Like
It's
yeah,
like the lore of the Iron Isles. Some of them
Seamen.
believe like George R. R. Martin got a lot of influence from Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yeah.
The book for H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, I was like, why does that sound familiar?
So like their throne is made from like this weird black metallic material metal. The bottom of the high towers, the main tower in the high Old Town. It also has that black material. So like there's a whole theory where like they have different the Iron Isle people have different gods called the deep ones.
Yeah.
And it's,
Oh,
ve-
yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
very Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
I mean, I think their whole
it's like a I love the
whole ritual about getting like
the drowned
like drowning yourself
Yeah.
and then
And if
like
you-
Well,
oh,
that's
if
how
you
they do
survive-
initiation. Yeah,
Yeah, like
you're
if
the,
you
you survive,
survive,
you're
you're-
not king.
Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Their religion's pretty.
It's
It's even
cool.
more hardcore than the North, the old gods. Like the North
I like.
what
I
is
like,
their saying? Whatever is dead,
may never rise.
No.
I don't think that's
What is whatever is dead
remains.
never dies or something like that. I don't know.
I like them though. I like them, and then the fact that it's like they boast the most powerful fleet. I think that's a cool thing.
But my thing is like, how does Euron make all those ships within that time frame?
No one's bothering them.
Remember
no
during
one's
those
bothering them.
during those
That's
seasons.
the way I just kind of
During those seasons, there's teleporting of all kind. There's
yeah.
instant building material for a whole
Matt.
fleet of ships. The largest
It's
fleet
like
ever
video
seen.
games, right?
Matt. Hold on.
Fast forward that.
The Lord of Light works in mysterious
Yeah, yeah.
ways.
Sure
And
does.
then we got the deep ones working in
deep
mysterious
ones.
ways. We got the old gods working in mysterious. Everyone's working in mysterious
Everyone's
ways.
working in
So-
mysterious ways.
What do you think about the Hound and his redemption at the end?
It was good.
The what they were calling at the time the
Oh,
Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were calling it.
I,
Clegane.
I enjoyed it because the Hound, I think, was a very, very scarred individual. No pun
Yeah.
intended.
I'm sorry. with
Traumatically, psychologically, someone.
we do not sow. We pay the iron price and take what we need. That's the Ironborn saying.
Oh yes,
That's what it was. Go
Okay.
ahead.
But
Yeah,
with
but
the
I know that
Hound-
what they say is like what they hit whatever's dead or
I know
never
you-
dies or something like that.
Is that a faceless man saying?
no,
No,
They
that's,
don't-
they say that all the
too
time.
many things, too many
Yeah,
cultures.
yeah. 'Cause I know the faceless men say something too. But yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
but with the Hound, I like the Hound's story arc. I mean, I know it probably ended pretty anticlimactic with the idea where he just had kind
Yeah,
of like
what
a-
is dead may never die.
What is dead may never die. The whole final boss anime battle like thing he
With,
had with his
with his
brother.
brother.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, because you can see over time he starts getting like some feelings, right? With
I think-
Arya, like he
I
tries
think
to.
he's always had empathy.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's been beat out of him by his brother and just like kind of like
His
how
dad,
he's scarred.
his, like,
you know how he's been treated.
fire, he got
Working
fired.
with the
Yeah.
Lannisters.
But when he killed the butcher's boy, that's what triggered Arya.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it was
completely
classic
because he
That's-
hunted him
that's-
down and then just brought him back on the
I mean, it
the
was-
little
They showed it.
cart.
If I gotta, Joffrey set him. You know, it was like the whole. He hurt Joffrey, and then it's like he got an order.
The prince is bleeding.
Yeah.
The prince. Oh my
yeah, so he got.
I love
an,
Robert's. You let a little girl disarm you.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and then Cersei's like, the beast must be killed.
But it was a sad when they killed Lady.
Yeah, yeah.
But if Lady didn't die, Bran would have woken up. Because when Lady dies, he wakes up
like
after
right
she dies.
Right after
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fresh with the early seasons.
Yeah.
Like, you're reminding me
Yeah.
of certain scenes because I'm like, yeah, I haven't. Like I love Game of Thrones, so I know a lot about it. But like I know like not specific scenes anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that.
Remember when
his eyes open and the
Matt's
show.
like,
the
remember
episode
when that
ends.
leaf fell in season 2, minute
Yo.
45, episode 4?
What do you think that leaf represented?
Well, remember when Ned is walking, and then Littlefinger is taking him somewhere to meet Kat. He's like, I know where your wife is at. And he walks to the brothel.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's like, you a funny man. You a And then you see Kat just pop right over.
Yeah,
Ooh, he's about to kill him.
Yeah. Disrespect my. Yeah.
And then when
Brought us
they
to a
walk,
brothel,
when he walks inside, he's like, them Starks. But he like had a like.
if the name
He's
list,
setting him up, right? I just got that feeling. He's setting him up from
he
the
was he was doing little digs.
Yeah.
Like, I know where your wife's at. Starts walking toward the brothel. Like, you son of a bitch.
like
what
lead
are
him
you
to
calling
where
my
like
wife?
he's gonna like
he
die.
That's Littlefinger though.
Yeah, yeah.
Littlefinger, he would say things.
he's
you know?
he's the actual subtle intrigue. Cersei
Well, he
thinks
saw
a
that
schemer.
Ned was trying to
Schemer, yeah.
find out what happened, right? And guess who killed John Aaron? Cersei ordered Littlefinger because Littlefinger's the one who poisoned
I thought it was,
John Aaron. No, it was Littlefinger.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it was Littlefinger, but I thought the one who directly poisoned him was Eliza. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, but it was, I mean, under the
the Lannisters.
under the Lannisters with the influence of Littlefinger because of the power Littlefinger had over what's her name? Kat's sister?
yeah, Eliza.
Eliza.
So
You know,
Liza.
So Liza, yeah, for sure, Liza killed her, but it was under the manipulation of Littlefinger because she was in love with Littlefinger under the orders of Cersei.
and he wanted Cat. He's always been in love with her since he was. He says it in the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
But
It's the weird way he also kind of like looked to Sansa of like as his daughter, but at the same time like
yeah, he kept getting
You look-
creepy.
yeah, it was
and
like-
it got creepy.
You
It got
look
creepy.
exactly. You look exactly.
look
like
exactly
her,
like your
Kat.
mama.
Like,
Did you see? Remember the
kiss?
part in
yeah.
the
it's like an
crypt?
uncle kissing his like the. It's
So
Yo,
weird.
for real.
Stop.
But
weird.
he got some cojones because when John is like in front of I think it was Lyanna or whatnot down in the crypt, and then Littlefinger comes down there. This is when they already took over.
yeah,
and he starts saying something that I love your sister and something
like,
about the
beats
mom.
his ass,
and then he
bro.
just grabs like. And just like kind of like what Ned did
Yeah,
same thing.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
I
like
remember
a
that
good
he's
reference.
He's talking to Jon Snow. You could instantly in the start of the conversation, Jon Snow's like,
John immediately
John's
was
face
like,
it was like, I
what do you
don't
think
like
about my
you.
sister? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you better stay away
you
from
know
her.
what's one thing that I didn't like with Littlefinger as scheming as he was? I didn't like the kiss at the Eyrie on
Oh, yeah.
Sansa because for someone that's so schemy to kiss Sansa in the
open.
or like centerfold having Liza just kind of, you know what I mean?
He might have-
I don't mind.
Well,
or
I know
you
why he
think
did that.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
he did on purpose.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
he did it to get her.
I would have died. I would have gone through the moon door.
He meant to have her see it so she can give him a reason to throw her through the moon
get
door.
rid of her, yeah.
Get rid of her. Like,
that-
he was protecting his niece.
Littlefinger scheming logic made sense up to that point. Like, 'cause
Yes.
obviously, like now he has the Eyrie. Basically, he's
Yeah.
region of the Eyrie until like little Robin grows up. You could easily he's Littlefinger. He's gonna
Yeah,
murder
but
him.
he tried to throw that in John's face
Yeah.
in the crypt.
And now if he's like,
You would have been dead without
Oh.
me and
Littlefinger has Harrenhal at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's basically regent / lord of the Eyrie. And then if you marry Sansa, he's gonna be also king of the king
Warden of the North.
Warden of the
Warden of the
North.
North.
And so yeah, you can see him like basically getting all
his
this
goal
power.
was to be on the Iron Throne.
But what does
Yeah.
what does he do with Sansa right after? Right after that scene we're talking about the moon door. He gives her to Ramsay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the logic,
that
Littlefinger's
was
logic
weird.
goes outside it makes no sense.
That's true.
And then Bran later on, he's just hanging out in the north. Bran tells him this clearly referring to a conversation he had with Varys privately,
Yeah.
like 4 years prior. And this random kid who's been gone in the north repeats a line, and his reaction is like, "I'm gonna still hang around out here."
I know.
It's
Like, I
it was
would've, like,
Littlefinger from
left.
season
And on
two.
that note,
Get-
we're off to Bravos.
Yeah.
right?
Like, yeah,
it's like,
well,
let me-
Littlefinger, right, get out of here. You have
I'm done here.
You can hold up and wait for the war to end. You can hold up in Harrenhal or the Eyrie.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Just hold up in there.
No, but
let the
he
war
kept
happen.
trying to manipulate, like obviously with Sansa and Arya, and it's funny because they both played along with it until
Yeah, that scene. That's one of the good scenes in the later season because, like, again, it's like you could.
and then
pick 'em.
Bran when he calls him out about
Yeah.
like getting his like, oh, you told him to not trust you, and he's just looking at Bran like, how the fuck you know this?
yeah,
And he's like, no, and he's like, I order y'all like the guys from the area. He's like, I think not or whatnot. Then Arya comes out with the dagger that he planted
the
on
Valyrian
Tyrion, the Valyrian dagger.
Yes.
This is pretty much the dagger that Viserys has in House of the Dragon.
yeah.
So he she uses that to cut his throat, and that was what the guy that they hired to kill Bran, they were trying to kill, cut her throat. But just like the connection through all that was just crazy, and then just the suspense that's happening in that moment, because he looks at her like, because Sansa was looking ahead, and then she turns, because Arya was standing in front of her, then Lord Baelish was like that, and he's like.
I always forget that he's Lord Baelish.
Lord Baelish.
I'm just so used to him being Littlefinger. Yeah.
You know, funny enough, George R. R. Martin said that he regrets not giving them, because like in medieval times it would be
This guy has a lot of regrets.
Just come on,
he has counts. Like also he said like he wished he made them older at this point, because I think he was planning a time skip.
Oh yeah,
like everyone's still like 15 in the books. But anyways, with the what was I saying with the the titles. So everyone's, you can be like a small lord, like, but everyone's called lord.
Yeah.
And obviously medieval times would be
if you come from a house, right? You're like
dukes, kings, and there's like different rankings, a lot of different more rankings than what I said. So one regret he said is like not giving people official like
titles.
Because titles, because like you could be
to differentiate it.
Lord of Winterfell, and then you're not gonna compare that to like Lord Baelish. He owns like one small castle in like the little fingers. So it's always like they're not even equal in power. Like that's why Littlefinger's looked down upon. He's like a very minor lord. For him to get to the point he was.
But that's the thing. He bit off too much what he could handle.
Oh, 100%. He thought he was in more control than he really was.
He pissed me off the whole story.
Oh, he did. Like,
oh my god.
Obviously, like the whole being
like
trading,
he would meet with everybody to get them against each other. He met with Renly. That's when he saw Cat, and
that's his chaos as a ladder.
I'm like, this guy's just going to different lords and
it
just
pissed me off when he the thing with Ned. Especially with him being the one that's.
I told you not to trust me.
Yeah, I told you not to trust me, but you're the one that said, it was your idea. So it's almost like he just asks everyone the same question. Whoever agrees with him more, he's like, I'm going this way.
Yeah, that pissed me off. Ned dying, right, and he got his head cut off by his own sword, and they freaking melted his sword down.
They made two swords, right?
Swords. Yeah.
One is given to
Widow's Maker or Widow's Way. Whatever Joffrey had, and then the one that Jaime gives to Brienne. Oathkeeper.
Yeah,
we've gone through like almost all the seasons, like hit a lot of the major scenes. So I wanted to ask you guys, like, what is that you know of, like your favorite types of theories that maybe the show didn't. Maybe they might imply it. They might have implied it, or your own theorizing.
Well, the one that supposedly Varys took Aegon, another son of Elia and Rhaegar, and he's technically the heir, and they took him somewhere else.
Yeah, what's his name? I know exactly what you're talking about. He's like
his name was
somewhere in
Aegon.
Essos apparently.
Yes.
And that's a true person that Varys wants to put on the throne.
Yeah.
I think he has like, because in Essos they have like colored hair, so I think he has it in the books. He has like blue hair or something like that.
Yeah.
What was his name? But yeah, that's a good one.
So that was a big one because I see a lot of sources that speak on that. So I'm like, ooh, that'll be pretty interesting. Because
I think in the books that's the one Varys is pushing for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not Jon Snow, who doesn't want it, and Daenerys, who's just like goes.
That would have been a nice ending, right? So he gets down to the Princess Promise. You got ice and fire together, but then it's like out of nowhere you see this random moment where you see Aegon, the one that Varys took out, because Varys, his story, he hasn't died yet in the books, because Winds of Winter is not out, but if George R. R. Martin keeps him in the story and somehow is able to meet up, if this is true, with Aegon, Rhaegar and Elia's son, and he ends up being like, hey, like, I'm the son of Rhaegar, I'm the heir, or like something. They could have done something crazy with that, versus just ending it just like that. Like, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, no Iron Throne. Daenerys is dead. They kind of to like seal everything. Like, hey, I was sent away because he was still a baby, just like Daenerys and Viserys was.
Yeah, I think Daenerys was like days old, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Dude, Viserys is like quite a few years older than
he was.
You promised me my crown.
Yeah, like talk about.
I'll give you your crown.
Oh, that was so cool, man.
Khal Drogo, I'll give you your crown. Pours all that gold on his head.
Drogo and Orbin, I felt were two characters I wanted to see more of.
Yeah, I was side with Oberyn when Oberyn.
Oberyn and Drogo for sure. Like, I would have loved to see Drogo in Westeros, just like destroying everyone.
What did that scene do to you of Oberyn dying?
Oh, I got.
That was another part with Game of Thrones. I was like, man, they killed him. I was like,
But see, that's
I
what
did
was
get
good.
nervous.
What do they
Remember
call him?
watching
The poison viper or something like that?
He was like
Sand Viper?
Sand Viper. Or it might have been Sand Viper.
Yeah.
He was clearly beating him from like his just
toying with
agile dexterity,
Yeah.
and then he could have won, and then he kept playing. Why did you kill her? And he started. I'm like,
And
when he
Cersei tells the wife in the show, like, hey, all he had to do was just stop talking, pretty much, and
yeah,
he
'cause
would have won.
He would have won, and then when he started like talking too much, I still
I'm
remember
like, dude,
watching
he's gonna
it,
get checked up.
and I was like, this is taking.
Yeah.
This is dragging. This is
knocked all
dragging.
his teeth out.
Yeah, that was
squeezed his
crazy,
head. I'm like,
crazy,
oh,
yeah.
Pedro.
My favorite. Oh well, the theory that I like to believe was that the kind of like the children of the forest are the ones that are responsible for everything.
yeah.
Like the idea, like this druid-esque type of group is just making, these villains of the natural way of things destroy themselves. Where it's like, oh, who wins the throne? And it's like, no one wins the throne. You know what I mean? Like,
Because
that's how-
the children of the forest, they were obviously one of the first people, or first, living in Westeros. But they battled with like the first men, the Andals, because of there was a part in what I read in the history with the oceans or the waters.
Yeah, they the first men, they crossed by the arm door.
Yes.
The shattered arm, which is shattered now.
But
So,
they use magic or something.
Yeah,
to
that's
kind of
that's one of the theories. Like they use some really powerful old god's magic to shatter the arm. That's why it
Correct.
shattered to stop the first men from coming. They had a pact. Eventually, after thousands of years of war,
They made
have
a pact.
For a while, the first men receded to the south, what they considered. Children of the Forest stayed somewhere. Some areas like the God's Eye. They moved north, and there's a whole theory with green men, like Garth Greenhand,
and there's
who was like
supposed to be different creatures, like
It's pretty insane.
But that was the battle between the Andals and the First Men, and obviously the Children of the Forest. But my thing is, I'm thinking like maybe they made that pact because the Children of the Forest obviously messed up by creating the Night King, because that's what's being said.
That's messed up.
That's
yeah.
what's
I wonder what the book is gonna go, because the show was the one who included like using the ebony
dragon gas.
to
Dragon
create-
gas.
The what?
The dragon
Oh,
glass.
the dragon glass. Yeah, not the ebony. Yeah, it was the dragon glass.
That's how they
stabbing to the-
saved Benjamin.
Yeah. Yep.
He was gonna die, and then the Children of the Forest put the dragon glass into his heart and saved him. But he was pretty much cursed to the land. He couldn't go beyond the wall because of the magic. That's why he says like that's not just a wall of ice. There's magic,
It's like
that's the aspect of it too
like a repel.
That's the aspect of too that I enjoy, which is like I kind of like hoping that the Children of the Forest or some type of like green druid type of group is the one that pretty much is making these
And
people
I
implode.
have
like modern
that Funko
civilization.
of the Children of the Forest, like the exclusive, like metallic one.
Yeah.
It's stored somewhere, but that's all. I love how they created them. Even during that time years ago when they did the show, I think they did great with their
the look.
the look,
I
the
remember
appearance.
They look. Because remember, they changed the look mid-season.
Oh, yeah.
The first time we saw them was when Bran first reached like the cave.
Yes.
And they were kind of like one leaf here and then like painted green. It didn't look that good.
Yeah.
And then the season ended, and she's like, "What are the Children of the Forest? Leaf,
It was throwing the bombs,
like the fireballs.
magic bombs. Yeah.
It didn't look that good. And then the season came back. They also changed the Three-Eyed Crow, Three-Eyed Raven actor.
Yeah, it went from a 2,000-year-old man to like a regular old man,
It was like a
70-year-old man.
a regular old British man. But he's I know why. That guy's amazing. Max Vaughn something.
Yeah, because
I think
the
he passed away
original one
recently.
was like he was like
That guy,
ancient.
Max. That guy's been an actor for like 80 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And the guy's old, and then so I was okay with the change.
I would like, and the only reason I adhere to this theory, and I hope so, is just because I would like more magic in this universe. Because
I could see
there's magic, but then there's like this weird like not talked about.
vagueness to it.
It's very vague. It's almost like it existed, and then it's like people just stopped talking about it. You know what I mean? Because they got
the Lord of Light.
because yeah. But it's the same thing with the religions. Like you kind of see, like, come on, bro, like the whole fucking demon thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like the whole shadow assassin thing.
Shadow baby.
You know, so it's like there's a lot of points throughout this entire series where something magical. You're like,
Yeah.
was that magic? Was that the religion? You know, where you're just kind of like, let me rephrase this. Something supernatural happens. And because obviously, like, you have the Night King, and that kind of all is kind of supernatural. But then, like, it's just like within the world itself, like, there's certain things where you're just like, is that the three-eyed raven that was controlling the, you know, like the whole, like what we mentioned
With the
earlier,
fire
where it was just like,
the-
oh, it was them giving, it was Bran giving signs to Viserys. I'm sorry, the Mad King.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite.
You know,
which,
so
which connects to a lot what you're saying with the Children of the Forest.
so that's my favorite. Like
Yeah.
that's where one.
Like that's my like it connects a lot to what you said
Yeah.
with the Children of the Forest. They created this strange Weirwood network.
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
would
yeah.
die, they would give
I
themselves.
think it would be interesting.
They give themselves to the Weirwood.
I was hoping for more Children of the Forest because there was a lot of them, but in the show, like, there's only a few left.
They only showed Lee. They showed Leaf.
Think
Like the only
three.
named one. Don't they show like two in the background or something like that?
Yeah, and they die.
They die in the.
One
in the
blows
attack.
himself up. That's getting stabbed by the. But you know what I did like when it comes on to the magic and this whole Lord of Light stuff. But what gave me chills is when obviously Ned is taken over while Robert's gone. You know, he got stabbed in the leg by the Jamie's men, and he's sitting on the throne, and then the little people make a complaint about. I don't know if they killed somebody, but Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, right? He orders the death of them, right? So he calls on Beric Dondarrion, and he's like, "Hey, I'm ordering you to pretty much kill the mountain, and then I denounce him of all lands and titles and all this stuff." And then but just the way Ned explains that, and then he's like, "I am summoning Tywin Lannister to court, and if he refuses, then I'll name him enemy of the state and blah blah blah." Dude, that's crazy. But then you never know what happened to Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
later on in the season, when you see him with Arya and the Hound, and you see this dude all jacked up, and obviously it's two different actors. Guy has a patch on, all these scars on, and his whole like religious talking about the Lord of Light.
That's another
and
thing.
Yeah.
Motherfucker can't die.
Yeah.
There was like he had a group. What was the group called that
The,
was following him?
the house with no banners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other guy was like, who's like struggling with like the updo ponytail.
Ponytail,
And I'm
always
I'm like,
alcoholic because he kept drinking.
I'm like, man, let it go. You're
Dude,
balding. Let it go.
he's
And
bald
got
up
a
here,
ponytail.
ponytail. But this guy, I never seen him drink any water, man. That guy's been probably so
And
dehydrated.
then, like, isn't he one who does like the drunken rituals?
Yeah.
Lord
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Light.
yeah,
And then
So he
just
fights
resurrects.
the Hound and gets the Hound slices it, thing opens up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he revives him, comes back,
easy
and
for
big
the
old
Lord of the Light.
scar. It's just like
Yeah.
Crazy.
So there's moments like that where you're just kind of like, can we dive a little more into this?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how do you care about a throne when you see some shit like this?
yeah.
It's not really explained now.
But the books, it doesn't happen that way. Guess who gets revived? Catelyn Stark.
Oh yeah.
He revives her instead.
Lady of Stone.
She becomes
Stoneheart?
the head of the House of No Banners.
yeah,
And
it's right here.
but her vocal cords are damaged because she got her.
Yeah,
her,
her
so
throat
she was
slit.
thrown in the river. She was found, and I forget his name. The guy who revives
Yeah,
Beric
yeah.
Dondarrion. They revive her
Yeah, they
instead.
didn't touch that at all in the show. I
and-
think it's the Lady Stoneheart.
But yeah, they throw her, and then she pretty much is all for revenge on what happened. So I think even in the book, there's a part where she almost kills Brienne of Tarth because obviously she cares about Jamie, and Jamie obviously is part of the
Yeah, yeah.
Lannisters, and her revenge is like, I'm gonna kill all the Lannisters because what happens at the end of the Red Wedding? Bolton tells them, "Hey, this Lannister sends a regard."
Yeah,
There's so much stuff that piles up, but just the crazy thing of like, dude, like just like the lore.
Yeah.
It makes like my skin go crazy because
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus.
Like one like anyone listening, one amazing YouTuber that's like good for all these. I mean, we barely touched like the surface of like the iceberg of like all the theories.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
we'll
just
be
the
here-
lore.
We would be here for like 4 hours on
Yeah.
just theories. But it's I believe his YouTuber name is called David Lightbringer. This guy has like sometime like 6-hour podcast just like going in like
Of Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
lore,
yeah.
Shadowlands, Asai, where Melisandre's actually from,
Yeah.
where she learned blood magic. The fall of Valyria with the
Yeah, because
the
she's like
faceless men.
she's supposed to be like what 200 years old or something like that. So she's if that's right, she should pop up in the new
the
show,
series, yeah.
the Sir Duncan the Tall and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. It would be cool if she makes a cameo. Absolutely, like for sure, right? Like
I think that's what they're saying.
it will solidify.
That would be great to see her. Like obviously in the show she looks young, right? But
Man, she could still look young.
that's what I'm
the whole
saying.
thing, right?
I
Yeah.
hope they probably keep the same actress because
I
she
don't
looks.
think so.
You don't think
I mean,
so?
the good thing about that type
I mean, they
of
could
character,
get someone younger.
the good thing about that character is she has like that
The ruby.
necklace. She can
Yeah,
she can kind of look however she
Is that
wants.
her-
So they
is
have
that
an
how she actually looks.
they have an
Even,
they have an
right?
excuse with like, oh, Melisandre can change her appearance.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is gonna take place during before.
Is it before
they're-
a Blackfire rebellion? I believe.
Probably, yeah, because they're
Right before,
kids. Because
right before.
Egg is young, and then
Werewolf.
and Egg is young. Maester Aemon is gonna be young, so
Yes.
we're gonna probably see a young version of him. But Giovanni's favorite character is gonna be Blood Raven.
Blood
you know?
Raven, it's just the spy master.
Tell me why you like Blood Raven.
Oh, I mean, it goes to my theory. It goes back to my
Oh
theory.
yeah,
on,
Giovanni
like,
has to give his favorite.
Hey,
theory.
the children of the forest.
Westeros
So
political
Blood
analyst
Raven.
talking.
Remember, Dunk. Oh, I don't know how much I want to get into this because you might be spoiled. And other
For
people,
Sir Duncan?
yeah. I don't know. Okay.
Well, I know
point-
how they die.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah. Point is, Blood Raven knows about the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yes.
He knows the prophecy. He's a green seer because he's half Targaryen, half Blackwood.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
So
he's,
he
he's
has
a bastard.
he has
He-
both the strongest magical bloodlines that we know, and yeah, he has prophetic dreams. He's a green seer, and so I think that he's using these visions to slowly get the Azor Ahai through genetic bloodline,
Yeah.
aka Bene
Yeah. Bene
Gesserit. Yeah,
Gesserits.
yeah. So he's controlling it over hundreds of years, making sure okay, this one must die. Okay, this one has to lose an eye. This
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
becomes Master Aemon. This one
Yeah.
gets sent to the wall because becomes a maester.
But he didn't
loses
want
all
he
his
didn't want the
titles.
crown though.
Yeah.
He didn't want it anyways.
Yeah, he didn't want it anyways. Yeah, so that's a good thing about him. But there's others that wanted it.
Yeah.
and he had to be being the spy
Well,
master.
he killed his brother.
Yeah, yeah. He
During
had to-
the didn't
Bitter
they-
Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had to get rid of them to make sure eventually a specific king from a specific king's bloodline that would lead to Jon Snow, and
Okay.
or any other character.
Well, he's the reason why
yeah.
Jon Snow was born.
Yeah.
And then he had to pretty much dictate to because he got sent to the wall. Because he became didn't he become the Lord Commander?
Yeah, he became the Lord Commander
and
after
then
he was
after he went
vanished.
into the beyond the wall, he disappeared, and that was it.
yeah, and then he's just been hanging out in a tree.
And he became
Hanging
the
out in a
right-
tree.
yeah, tree, like you said, like a tree druid.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
doing tree magic stuff.
Just doing druid magic.
dictating
stuff.
the
And then he sent Jojen those. Another thing is really interesting in the books is when he activates. So, green seers might be green seers are extremely rare. Wargs are more common in the north.
yeah.
Wargs are pretty common within the Starks, but green seers even within the Starks are extremely rare.
Okay.
They're rare also with the Blackwoods. So, the way green seers are activated by Bloodraven is he sends them dream visions, and they're falling. They're like Bran feels like he's flying. That's why he gets
Yeah.
the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna be able to fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's falling and he sees a crow. In the book, he's referred to as a crow.
Okay.
And as a whole other thing, because Onan always said, remember Onan with all
Yeah.
the stories?
Yeah, yeah,
Onan
yeah,
is-
yeah.
always says, the crow is the lesser raven, is a poor man's raven, and they're all liars.
Oh my god.
Three-eyed crow.
Yeah,
It's like so
yeah,
many
yeah.
like little cool
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
right? So yeah, Bran is falling, and there's like spikes, and Bran sees a bunch of like children and people like stabbed in these dreams, right? And then Bloodraven says, "Oh, if you want to live, you have to learn how to fly." He ends up learning how to fly. So like the implication is Jojen is the one who survived that dream. Bran is the one who survived that dream, like the test to become a green tier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
all those
yeah,
children
yeah.
are children that he sacrificed until he got the perfect green tier.
Wow.
The perfect body. Or like
Yeah.
basically Orochimaru with Sasuke.
Yeah.
Because Jojen wasn't. So
Jojen knew
Bran-
his fate.
Yeah, he knew he was gonna die, but Bran was a chosen one. They already knew, and that's the crazy thing about Bloodraven because Bloodraven in Game of Thrones just like an old man in a tree, right?
Yeah.
But if you we talk about all the like the battles, right? And then he was labeled a kinslayer because that's I think isn't that why he got
Banished, yeah.
banished because he killed his brother.
Like, one of the other great bastards, as they call him, Bitter Seal. I think.
Yeah, and then you see like the toughness out of this guy, like how big. And then if you didn't know the lore, you wouldn't have known that this guy. And I didn't know at first that's Brandon Rivers. I just thought that was the 3R Raven. I didn't know his backstory until. But then we saw House of the Dragon, right? And we'll touch base on another episode.
Fighting when they show the Blackwoods.
But the Blackwoods, and then
Brackens.
the Brackens, and but you saw Aemon, you know, the vision and all that stuff. So it just made. It's connecting all these dots.
And he's missing an eye patch, and his red birthmark is supposed to be the shape of a raven and or crow, and it's just like a wine stain.
Literally.
I will see. I don't know how the actor.
But I think in the show, they better
but...
do some justice in the show coming out in 2025 with Sir Duncan the Tall.
Do you know when it's coming? Like what? Like summer, spring?
Well, I know it finished filming, so they're probably just doing all the post editing.
Yeah.
Enhancements, but.
Did they say how many episodes?
I'm not sure.
8,
but it'll probably be like a limited series.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be like 8. Yeah, that's the new norm.
Because House of the Dragon is like their main show right now.
Yeah.
So obviously budget wise, it's gonna be hard for them to blow a lot of money into seasons. But there's a lot that they can go on with Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon because. Aegon is like a little kid this time, and he gets him to be like a great king.
And I think in those tournaments, if I remember correctly, I think Walder Frey's like a young guy too.
He's supposed to be
a kid. He might be a kid.
He's supposed to be a kid.
Like kid Walder Frey.
Yeah, because Aegon's son is the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
Because that's Aemon is the uncle to the Mad King.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I was like earlier before the podcast. I had a Targaryen bloodline family.
It's crazy.
It's gonna be especially if they bring in Blood Raven, Bitter Seal. There's like Sea Star. His Blood Raven's like.
There's a lot of
lover.
bastard girls too.
There's
from
like
that bloodline.
8 legitimate heirs, and then like 20 other bastards. So it's gonna be like so hard to like people just like watching the series without knowing the lore. They're gonna be like. Everyone's called Aemon or Aegon or.
That's my thing
Daeron.
with Game of Thrones is the lack of the Targaryen history explained in the backstory because all this started not even just with the Targaryens, but the main story did, right? Because prior to that, obviously, was before the Doom of Valyria, and you had all these big houses, but. We we don't got that much story on that in that aspect. We have a lot of live action regarding post Targaryen conquerorship and then obviously House of the Dragon kind of filled in the gap, but we got from Jaehaerys and on. So there's so much to fill.
I don't know if they'll maybe
it's
eventually.
It's just a lot of exposition. That's the difficult thing with these IPs, right? Like you look at Game of Thrones, Dune, Lord of the Rings. It's like, bro, if you sat there and like guys, let me explain everything so you could understand
the context.
How many attention spans are you keeping?
Yeah.
Like with these shows, these movies, what they need is people to buy the movies, go watch the movies, watch the shows.
You need spectacles.
And then
so like for us,
connect the dots.
It's for us. We're the ones that are then gonna go home, maybe read the books, maybe go find a 7-hour retrospective video on YouTube explaining like obscure historical events from these fictional worlds. Because I'm saying it because I do that with these worlds.
And then when you're reading this type or having like a voiceover, it gives you chills. Like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. It sounds
because you're used to commercial stuff, right? Stuff that's live action. But when you read and you understand, like, oh man, that gives me the chills reading that. And then one thing I do want to touch base on because a lot of people missed it during Game of Thrones is what do you see in House of the Dragon that you don't see in Game of Thrones?
Oh, easy. I can tell you right now. Your favorite character dying every week.
More dragons. What did you say?
Your favorite character dying every week.
But there's one big thing.
One big thing?
What?
Dragons?
I was gonna say I said dragons. Like wait, a lot more dragons.
One big thing.
I don't probably not gonna be able to guess it because a lot of people forget.
What?
I was saying,
House Valyria.
Valerion.
Valyria.
The shipwrights.
They're still active in the Game of Thrones.
That's true.
But they're the most wealthiest in the Driftmark, right?
Yeah,
The House
yeah.
Valyria, all them like they
Yeah.
are
They're like a
big.
similar-
True.
They
And
weren't- I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I obviously they're a survivor from the
Driftmark is still there in the
but
storyline.
They weren't Dragon Lords. They were never.
They were never
Dragon
Dragon
in
Lords.
Old Valyria.
God.
Targaryens were
only
always-
the Valyrians who did have dragons had blood of Targaryens. Like obviously, the son, Laenor,
Yeah.
he had sea smoke, but obviously, his mom, what is this, a niece,
Something like that.
Targaryen,
Like, she was
the queen
Targaryen.
who never was.
Yeah.
But in Game of Thrones, the house wasn't extinguished.
Yeah. Oh, they were still there. I remember. That's
That's
good that you
fair,
Because
brought it
that
up.
was one question I asked. I went on Google. I'm like, what?
I did the exact
What
same
happened
thing.
to House Valyria? What happened? And
Yeah,
they're
'cause
still around, but they
You watch
just
House of Dragon, I'm like, oh, this is an important family.
'Cause Lannister-
they're Valerian.
Yeah.
They're Valerian. White, the silver white, beach blonde type hair, purple
Yeah,
eyes, which
yeah.
I'm still angry they don't do yet. Still,
They're very unique.
but they were the richest family.
Yeah.
They and Lannisters were like behind them, and then in Game of Thrones, it's Lannisters is the top notch and number one. And like, what happened to House Valyria?
Yeah, I looked up the same thing, and like people were like, oh no, they're still there.
Yeah.
No, oh, okay.
So it's like, what?
true.
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love their outfits. Their
They-
salt and sea.
And they were the ones that had the most powerful fleet.
yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna
The Greyjoys was like a pinch of that.
Yeah.
For few months, but potentially next week. Dream of spring next year. That's the final prediction of the release of the books. Final
Dream
prediction.
of Dream.
All in. Yeah,
That's gonna kick in maybe. So it's been how long since we were winning
I
Winds of
think
Winter?
it was
15
like
years.
15 years or something.
Okay.
Something like
That's
that.
nuts, bro.
So-
and this motherfucker's just like, I'm gonna write a show.
I'm 34 now, so I want to say maybe 45. We'll probably get this.
If we do, because you're kind of hoping that George R. R. Martin doesn't kick
Yeah.
the, kick the
I can
bucket.
imagine that guy working like he's writing like, oh yeah, I forgot about this character, like the 80th character he made
Yo,
up
for real.
with their own motivations, their own like scheming. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot 10 years ago I wrote this storyline in book 2. Blah blah. Lord X schemed this, so he want
I
then-
can't imagine with his like.
Yeah, I would love to see like his workstation workflow or what he maps he has.
And honestly, I think the shows don't help because it's other people now adding other
Yeah.
aspects
I mean,
that like he's probably it's making him triple think things now, like, you know what I mean. So like, will we ever get it? I truly don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
I was telling my buddy the other day, I'm like, man, he's just in this popularity of House of the Dragon hit, Game of Thrones hit, but then you have this new generation of watchers and fans for the
And
House
he's
of the
riding that
Dragon
high again.
and he got that high, man.
Yeah, because for sure, Game of Thrones is an iconic television show.
There's,
one of
like,
the
more
best television
shows-
shows ever made. And it got quickly forgotten because of the horrible last few seasons. But I still don't think it takes away from the fact that this show is an iconic top 5 television show ever
Yeah.
created. And it's like you said, now with House of Dragon coming back, and then like season 1 was a success. I think he's riding that wave of popularity
needs to shut up.
again. And it's
And right,
I think the producers of these shows just need to leave him alone.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, dude, just go finish these books, because I think everything would. While cinematic universes will always take their own twist on things because it's television, they have to do things differently to keep watchers engaged. I think it would help the quality of the shows if
sure.
these books were completed.
yeah.
If the story was completed.
And then like going into the House of the Dragon, especially season 3, like there's going to be a lot to talk about. So definitely, like we have a lot to talk about for just season 2.
Yeah.
So just like stay on the lookout for like our season 2 review, because that's gonna be like our season 1 was amazing when we talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, season
so
2 is gonna
I'm
be-
ready for season 2 just because of the things that we can touch base on that you will know that takes place in the future that we know of in the Game of Thrones show that they're keeping canon.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
but my like I would like to end on the fact that like watching this show and getting into this has changed my whole like love for for this
medieval
type
fantasy, dark fantasy.
I've
I
gotten
really did-
so more
100%.
deep
For
into
me- for me, this was like-
motivation.
for like media, like just narratives. For me, it's up there. Like when it really
Yeah.
changed my interest with this and Berserk.
Yes.
Like Berserk has like other kind of like another
Berserk
dark
is
fantasy.
very similar to kind of this.
And yeah, just again, like I said in the beginning, bringing Rome and dark fantasy
Yeah.
together, like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings-esque magic
Yeah.
with Rome, political intrigue, and making it grounded at the same time. Weird magics that are never explained with shadow
Oh,
babies.
but for sure, way more grounded than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, of course.
Because Lord of the Rings is
Um,
definitely
but yeah,
high fantasy.
Amazing series.
Yeah,
Ex-
man.
fantastic.
It
A
gave
lot
me
of- a lot of
inspiration,
peace.
man.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we were all hearts were broken.
Yeah.
A lot of hundreds of millions of hearts were broken.
Yeah, but it's like I said, I don't care. It's still one of my
yeah.
favorite shows.
Yeah.
So, I still rank it as one of my favorite shows too.
Yeah.
And you'll hear it. That's just something like you didn't even have to watch Game of Thrones to know that they did terrible with the last few seasons.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think
Everyone should watch it.
the pro
Yeah.
is that there's so much to tell and it's really, really good. Even though like we still got hope, man. The Winds of Winter is not out yet, so when it comes out, hopefully we'll get a different ending
Jon
to move
Snow,
forward
please
with.
wake up, John.
Wake up, yeah, or he's the Iron Throne or something. I just want something different to happen.
Hashtag Where's John?
Where's
John?
John? Like it's no.
You sure
It's a
his name is
random
John?
area in the
His
Castle
name is
Black.
Aegon, okay? Aegon Targaryen. But and then back then, obviously, everybody was named Aegon
Well,
or
if he did become king, you might know Matt. He would be Aegon the what?
he was
fifth?
no, he was
He would be Aegon the fifth if he became king or sixth.
no, I think he was eighth of his name
Oh, eighth.
because Samuel says it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Eighth
he
of
actually
his
goes through
name.
like the document I remember, and the
I think
and the university or whatever it was called for the maesters.
trying to
Citadel.
see. Yes, I think it was
Library of
seventh or something like that. Now, like these little things that you
remember, yeah.
you don't remember
You
when
don't
it's like
remember.
small things.
It's hard. It's hard because it's a
Yeah,
lot.
I know a lot about Game of Thrones. I feel and like there was a few times I was like, what was this name? I'm like,
there's too many things.
so
to
many
it.
names.
Yeah.
So many motivation schemers.
Schemers.
Everyone's a scheming.
I think it got to be like the 7th or something,
Yeah.
or what? Not 8th or the 7th. Yeah, but it's just. It's hard to see him as Aegon when he got this dark black hair,
That's all right.
dark.
He's
What I'm
Jon.
saying? Like he's still John to me.
He's John Targaryen.
But I'm just hoping George R. R. Martin does do like a little twist with his story. So
I would imagine after he might have been like a bit sad or a mix of emotions with like
I'm
the,
sure
the-
because he started
the
calling out everybody
reactions.
out.
all the more reason to finish your book, dude.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if like changed a
Give
few
people
things.
the
up.
real ending.
Yeah, we gotta wait till 2026 for the season 3 of House of the Dragon, right?
I don't know. Probably.
Maybe I wouldn't be surprised. Those,
But tune in till we create our reaction for season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we
absolutely.
did great with season 1. I think we did nailing that. A lot of people liked that episode. So that's it for me for that. I think we have so much more we could talk about
Yeah, we
in
can.
House
But
of the
yeah,
Dragon
I
because
just-
we're gonna have some Game of Thrones references anyways.
Yeah,
so
yep.
At this
either
point,
way,
keep going. The podcast will go like 4 more.
I'm gonna take a nap, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna need some refills on some drinks and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
But yeah,
keep
we
it
could go
going.
crazy with the lore. But again, like there's a few. Alt Swift X,
Yeah.
another YouTuber, David Lightbringer. These guys like there's like Alt Swift X has like a 7-hour video
That's crazy of him just
talking about
recording
Game of
stuff.
Thrones lore. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. It's
So imagine that if we're talking like in the fact that you can go into 7 hours, it just tells you right there,
Song
like
of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
it's
this is just a
amazing lore.
condensed version, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like we're not really talking
and
about everything. we
this
wanna
is like a
talk about.
fan version, us
Yeah,
being
yeah.
fans talking about it.
Just a
And-
conversation.
and mainly
no
about the show,
script,
too.
no script. Just talking about the show, the things we like from the show, the things we like from the book, the things we don't like. So yeah, but if we really wanted to sit here and digest the lore, no,
Yeah.
it turns into a history class.
yeah, exactly. And we
Battle of the Trident happened in what was it? What was
It was in
the calendar
1798.
292 A
Yeah.
C
Yes.
after concrete.
On
Yeah,
the fifth
after-
night
like
of the
270
spring.
something, I think.
a lot of stuff. I think, and hey, that's why they have like narrators, people, doing voiceovers, because that's what I watch and listen to get more insight on the
Yeah,
lore.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll be sending you some too as well. But yeah, stay tuned until next time. We're gonna end it on that note. And tune in for season 2 of House of the Dragon.
Peace.
Later.
Thanks for listening to The Nerd Pod. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're there, help us spread the word by leaving a rating and review. We'll talk to you next time on The Nerd Pod.